Can I have another?
Is the red light a go?
The red light's on.
Is that a go? The red
Yeah.
light, yeah. Looks like it's ready, Jenny, let me, or Vice Mayor.
All right. I will call to get order this regular meeting of the Santa Paula City Council for August 19th at 5:30 PM. And Madam Clerk, would you do a roll call a roll, please?
Councilmember Chavez?
Here.
Councilmember Carnejo?
Here.
Councilmember Ornelas? Vice Mayor Crosswhite?
Here.
And Mayor Juarez is absent this evening.
All right, and so far I have received 2 public comments. If anyone else is still wanting to give a public comment, please grab one of these blue pieces of paper and turn it into the city clerk. All right, my first public comment is from Gary Ost.
Madam Mayor, just to clarify, this is public comment for closed session.
Yes.
This is also for item 3A, instead of just
Yes.
regular public comment, I believe.
3A,
for both of these.
3B, and 3C, if anyone wants to comment on any of those items.
Just wanted
in closed
to
session.
be sure where we're at.
Yes,
We don't
just-
have any other regular general. Okay.
Mine are on 3A and 3B. It seems to be the same topic of discussion. This has been really hard for the community to follow. What's on the agenda is still discussing Dan's performance evaluation. Is that done yet, or are we still working on that? Because apparently, the council has already made a decision, and it's unclear whether we're finished with the performance evaluation or not. Now, I understand that employee performance evaluations is clearly closed session. You just have to do it that way. But changing the direction of the city, or now embarking on a search firm and spending taxpayer dollars, that's a different thing. And I don't know if that's being discussed in closed session or what's being discussed in closed session. So I'd appreciate some clarification there. The other topic I have is, on July 30th, there was a meeting here to discuss the same issue, and several members of the community came forward and gave testimony, and it was unanimously in support of Dan. But if you go on the city website, a recording of that meeting and those comments are nowhere to be found. So I know this went out on Zoom. So how is it that a public hearing can go out on Zoom and yet it's not a part of the city record? That's my second question. And my third point is, we have an election in a little more than 60 days. And I would say that it's premature to engage a search firm until we have a seated new council and let them handle that process. I think we're putting the cart before the horse. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And was there anyone else that was wanting to turn in a card? I mean, I have yours, but I just didn't know, this one said it wanted to go last. So I just wanted to make sure if there was anyone else who was wishing to speak before I called yours. Okay, Bob Orlando. Usually people are wanting to go first, so.
No, thank you. I'm going to address council, Madam Vice Mayor, Mr. Singer, other department heads. Greg? I'm addressing items 3A and 3B. And I'm going to be paraphrasing from the city's leadership change letter of July 1st, 2006. Marking more than 6 years of service in the city of Santa Paula, Mr. Singer led the city through a pandemic, established new revenues devoted to city services, and the acquisition of the historic Union Oil Building. He has guided the community during this time of exceptional growth, which is honorable and commendable. He pushed through road improvements now taking place throughout the city, as well as complete repaving of the Harvard Boulevard. Dan passed Measure R to continue street improvements, cutting the timeline for the projected 5-year payment project nearly in half. He also spearheaded the city's wider exposure to social media platforms to encourage citizens to participate more in city government. Dan was there to launch the construction of the Santa Paula Creek Bridge and getting finances under control. This letter further states the council has trust in Dan's leadership, and he did all this with a short staff and limited funds. Wow. Maybe you should run for governor. Regarding his Dan employment letter, this was not an easy, as it states in here, this was not an easy decision for the council as we recognize the unselfish dedication Dan has given to this organization and community. Well, I think that's total placated fabrication since the council has been predetermined to replace Dan for some time, and Councilmember Chavez wanted 4 years ago, even before he was on the council and before he worked with Dan. Now, there is an open mind that's going to reflect what's happening to Mr. Singer. As you have stated, Dan has accomplished much. He's done a great job, you say, but bye-bye, you're done. Thank you. Some of us here, we may not want to push this too hard because we could embarrass Dan. I realize the reply from the dais is not part of the protocol here, and I'm not seeking an answer. But I ask, Mr. Singer, what could the city council present to embarrass you? I respectfully request, so as you saunter off into your clandestine closed session to find ways to justify your prejudice and bias towards Dan, please remember to focus on what's in the best interest of the city and not in your best interest or agenda. I respectfully request that the city council extend Dan Singer's city manager contract for 3 years. Let's keep it moving. Appreciate the time.
All right. Seeing you've received no other cards, City Clerk?
No, I have none, and I have none online.
Okay. All right. City.
Are we ready to
Yes.
convene into closed session? All right. The city council now convene into closed session under items 3A through items 3C on the regular agenda. This includes conference or real labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. The agency designated representative is Monica Castillo, the city attorney, and the unrepresented employee is city manager. For 3B, we're going under public employee performance evaluation pursuant to Government Code Section 54957 for title city manager. And last, under 3C, conference with legal counsel for anticipated litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D2 concerning significant exposure to litigation with 2 potential cases.
Okay, and then just so you want to explain the procedure, Madam Clerk?
Yes, thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to explain the procedure since this is a little new to everyone on the dais, everyone in the public, everyone on TV. We thank you for being part of our community, but we want to let you know we do have a new setup for the public to be able to speak online. And so currently, right now, I do have a Zoom that is open for the public for this meeting. They can still see that online through the agenda, and it is on page 2 of the agenda. Anyone can go in and log on to that if they have any public comments on any items. And I know that council is currently going to recess to closed session. I just wanted everyone to be aware, I'm going to keep the Zoom on now because we do know that you will be returning for the next half of your meeting. And during that, you'll do your report out on closed session at the regular time. So everyone will be aware. We do have live mics, and wanted you to be aware that if you're having any conversations in here. We will also continue to record, though during the recording time, it will probably just show council in recess and then come back on at 6:30. So if anyone is curious on that.
And just so the public knows, we do have time certain for the 6:30, so we will not be coming and reporting back out before 6:30. So if you want to grab a bite to eat, you wouldn't miss anything if you were back by 6:30. All right. It is my honor to reconvene this regular city council meeting from our closed session. Madam Clerk, would you just redo the, actually, we'll do the invocation first. Do we have someone here to give the invocation?
Al Galene is here.
Please rise in body or spirit as you are so comfortable doing so.
Let us pray. Heavenly Creator, we are gathered here to thank you and humbly ask for your continued blessing on our community. We have encountered difficulties and conflicts, and yet we continue to be a beacon to many around the world. Give us the strength and wisdom to seek the good of all. We especially pray today for our schools as they receive the young minds and bodies of our future. We pray for the teachers and the staff who undertake this awesome responsibility. We pray for the leaders in our city, in its administration, knowing that their sole purpose is for the betterment of our city. The co-founders also recognize the difficulties among us. But now we pray that these differences are respected, leading to solutions that benefit all. We pray for an everlasting peace and a safe return of the men and women in uniform, that they return safely to their families. And help us to share the blessings with those in need. Help us to see the Lord in the poor and the marginalized, and to respond with love and kindness. And we remind ourselves that we never grow weary of doing what is right. Amen.
Councilmember Ornelas, would you please lead us in the pledge?
Right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Chavez.
Present.
Councilmember Cornell.
Here.
Councilmember Ornelas.
Present.
Vice Mayor Crosswhite.
Present.
And Mayor Juarez is absent this evening.
All right, thank you. City Attorney, would you please give our closed session report? Oh, and, okay, yeah.
Yes, I will do so. This evening, council recessed into closed session under items 3A, 3B, and 3C on the agenda this evening. The items were conference with labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 5495.6. Agency designated representatives was myself, Monica Castillo, City Attorney. Unrepresented employee was City Manager. 3B, Public Employee Performance Evaluation pursuant to Government Code 54957 for title City Manager. And then closed session item 3C, Conference with Legal Counsel, anticipated litigation under Government Code 54956.9D2 concerning significant exposure to two potential cases. I'll start by saying that under each of these items, there is no reportable action, but I have been given authorization from our city council to share this information. As I stated at the July 30th special meeting, there is no reportable action needed concerning either the city manager's performance or the city manager's employment agreement. The agreement expires by its own terms on June 30th, 2027, and no council action is required for that agreement not to be renewed or extended beyond that date. Likewise, no motion or vote was required, merely to allow the agreement to expire according to its own terms. And that is to say that because no action is required concerning this type of employment agreement that's already going to expire, it doesn't change the employment status of an employee. No reportable action is required, and that will conclude my explanation of what action, of what council has decided not to intervene in. This concludes
All
my
right.
report.
And given our, unless any of my colleagues have a problem, given the number of our softball players that we have standing out in the hallway, I would like to go ahead and move them up and do their presentation next, since we ran out of chairs. So, yes.
Madam Vice Mayor, I have told them I would bring the kids in to put them in the middle and all their parents to surround the whole area. So if the public's aware of that, please bear with them. They want to see their children receive their awards. They were out front.
All right. So as they're filing in, this brings us to I'm gonna move to item 10A up, and then we'll take general public comment. And this is the girls softball recognition. And so I'll give instructions once they've filed in. Well, no.
Just this far, because then the girls are going to, okay, thanks. All the kids. Harley.
Way to go, girls.
All right, I'll let you guys take a couple pictures there, and then what we're going to do is my colleagues and I are going to read everyone's names, and we'll have the girls come up here and join us. And so if you hear your name, if the person isn't here, if one of you could just let us know that that person isn't here. Bellany Carrillo. And then next, we'll have Kensley Bavero. And then we have Mia Barron. And then Rosario Barraza. And then Councilmember Cornejo, you want to read next?
Thank you. Liliana Cordova. Harley Guzman. Salia Pacheco. Aliyah Perez.
Ladies first. Okay, I'll go. Anthony Bavero. Anthony. Valentina Zambrano. We have Samara Rodriguez. Janelle Resendez. And Camila Posadas.
Okay, I might have gotten all the coaches. I have Justin Barron. Chris Cordova. Alexis Carrillo. Roberto Rodríguez. And Mauro Posadas.
All right, first of all, does one of the coaches want to say a few words?
Chris.
Here.
To the microphone, yeah.
Yeah, you could come up here.
I just want to thank all the council members and the city of Santa Paula for coming out and showing out for our girls. We truly appreciate all your support. The council members for even putting this together is awesome. It just shows your appreciation and support for these lovely girls and the accomplishments that they endured this season. So thank you all.
All right, so let's, I don't know if they can see you behind me. So how about,
Come in between.
Just come, yeah.
yeah,
So you can.
come in between, there we go. Here,
Look that way.
here we go. Can you, hold on, I think, I don't know if yours. Yeah.
Get in here. Get closer, get closer.
Come right in here. There you go. There we go.
Girls at TV.
Well, congratulations, girls.
Awesome.
Again, thank you all.
Thank you. We're really grateful to all of the parents and the coaches that invested so much in these girls, and I'm excited for what they'll do in the future.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Madam Mayor, can I just say a couple things?
Sure.
I know the mayor is not here today, but I had made the request to the mayor, and unfortunately he's not here today, but I know he's here with us in spirit. And it's important for us to recognize all aspects of our community. And so it's great to see so many people here, and especially when we see our young people being recognized and surrounded by the love and support. That's who Santa Paula is. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. So now that that ceremonial item is done, that does bring us to public comment. And at this point, members of the public can comment on any item that is not under the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council, that is under the subject matter jurisdiction of the council, but that is not on the agenda. That said, we will entertain, if you are here to speak on the mobile home item and you would rather speak under general comment and not under the future agenda items, or sorry, the RV item, and you would like to speak on that item now under general public comment and not wait until the end of the meeting when we do future agenda items, we will consider those. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the general public comment first, and then I will quickly run through those who are here for the RV item to see if any of them would rather speak under general public comment. City Attorney, is there anything else on that that you wanted to add?
No, just that if anybody does address the RV potential agenda item, that they can only speak once during public comment and not again at the time that occurs later in the agenda.
All right. So I will start with general public comment. I did have one question. Judy Rice, did you have general public comment, or were you wanting to speak on the RV?
I want to speak because it pleases me to see all of you turn out.
Okay.
I'll make it short and sweet. Girls rock. Yeah.
Right, but before you start though, and before the city clerk starts the time, just a reminder to everyone, because we might have people on all sides of this issue, that I am going to ask folks to refrain from audible responses, whether it's boos, cheers, loud claps. If you want to show your support, thumbs up, handshaking, thumbs down, but just so that we can maintain some decorum. And if people have differing views, they're able to share their opinions while they're giving public comment.
Yes, and that's also a legal reason behind that. Nobody wants to chill others' viewpoints. So please proceed.
Am I on?
Yes, and the city clerk will begin the time. Everyone will have 3 minutes.
Okay, I'm going to wait till next week to speak when it's on the agenda, correct? I can speak now, but I would rather wait until next week.
So if it's okay with the mayor, I think it's worthy of explaining what is on tonight's agenda. Councilmember Chavez has asked the council to consider placing the matter of the existing RV ordinance in the context of that, and maybe a revised ordinance, on a future agenda. So you're right, this is a matter that will come back, assuming that the majority of the council directs that we do that. It won't be next week. Well, first of all, the council doesn't meet next week, although they do have an important workshop on mobile home parks next week. It would be at whatever opportunity exists based on the priorities of the council. So that may be a meeting or two from now, or it may be a few months from now. So I think it's worthy of just pointing that out.
Okay, well, I'd like to see a consensus. Who is here tonight to speak on the RVs?
You need to speak
Okay.
with the council. You can stay speaking with just the council.
Oh, I need to do that? Okay, well, sorry, but see, now you guys are going to have to come back because it's not on the agenda yet. So we got all excited, we're always crisis workers, but I have to.
She's using her time.
I want to see it go all the way out the door. Come back when they say we can talk on the RVs, the mobile homes, and all that. Okay, good to see everybody. I'll come back.
Okay. So just to clarify, the item that will be on the agenda later in relation to the RVs is whether or not the council is scheduling that as a study session. So just to clarify. All right, for general public comment, I have James Lantine.
He's going to come out from the bathroom in the back. Here he comes.
Okay, Madam Mayor and council people, as well as city staff and the public. I'm actually here on behalf of Newhall Mansion in Piru. As most of you know, it's a beautiful historic landmark that really helps shape a lot of what's going on in the valley. It has recently been purchased by Ken and Betty Lou Wiseman about 2 months ago. And on August 27th at 3 p.m., we are going to do an official ribbon cutting. And I would like to extend an invitation to all of you with a +1, as well as the general public. If you'd like to go and be a part of the celebration, we would love to see you there. So.
All right, thank you. So our next general public comment is going to be Mike Caulfield, followed by Katie Arth.
Hello, council members. My issue that I want to bring up is basically a beautification or an eyesore that we have in our town. And I've spoke over a year ago about our post office is in desperate need of landscaping. They recently, well, it's been years ago, put in a sprinkler system and some brush, and it's all just been taken over by weeds. So it's very, it's an eyesore, it's an embarrassment for somebody out of town to see our post office like this. And the other eyesore that I notice is on the corner of, I believe it's 8th and Main Street, where it used to be Anna's Cider. The fence that they have around this property is just a bunch of old barrels. And it's just, I don't know how the city can let it, be like this, because it is an embarrassment to our town to have such a beautiful area and then just to have an eyesore right out in front for everybody to see. So I would hope that the council would consider looking into this.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Katie Arth, followed by Gary Ost.
Dear Vice Mayor and City Council members and staff, thank you for taking the moment to hear from me. My name is Katie Arth, and I am the co-founder of Ventura County Voters for Animals. We are an all-volunteer run organization representing constituents in all of the cities, including right here in Santa Paula. We started earlier this year, and along with a large coalition of various stakeholders, we're able to work with the City of Ventura to ban glue traps. I've been informed that you may consider reviewing animal welfare-related policies and legislation in the coming months, and so we are here to offer our support. While we are all volunteers, we're connected with some of the best experts in the nation on all animal welfare issues, from sheltering to humane pest control, plant-based procurement, anything really under the sun, we know who to talk to. And so I came today to mainly make sure that you guys know we can be a resource for you as you explore various policies and for any revisions. And we've also heard from a number of our Santa Paula supporters that they are very interested in seeing Santa Paula pass a similar glue trap ban, which would make it the 3rd city in Ventura County. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll be following up with an email so you can have our contacts.
All right, thank you. Gary Ost, followed by Richard Redmond.
Good evening, City Council. I'm going to talk on my favorite topic, which you've heard me talk about before, about extending Dan's contract for 3 more years. We continuously hear what the council has not done. And I understand how that works in closed session, no reportable action, because you didn't take any action. But since then, you have taken action. You've announced that your intention is to replace Dan. You've announced that you're going to be getting a search firm to find a new city manager candidate. Those are actions. And I don't know if they're being discussed in this particular closed session or not, but I think you need to agendize an item on a future agenda to discuss this new direction you want to go into. And I would also, it's hard sometimes. Santa Paula is constrained by its budget and its tax base. And there is no magic wand that any city manager can wave to increase both of those, as much as we would love to do it. My own farm has capital issues, and we have to delay projects. It's just the nature of the beast. So please don't confuse any issues that Dan hasn't been able to done in a day with the budget he's constrained by and the tax base we're constrained by. I know it gets frustrating at times, and there may be some frustrations on the council that Dan is the problem, but if you gave Dan more budget and we had a bigger tax base, these wouldn't be issues. So I hope that you consider that. And given the constraints that we have, forward momentum is critical. And a city manager that understands our budget constraints is critical. If we change leadership, it's going to cost us money in executive search, and there's going to be inefficiencies introduced in a new learning curve in a budget that's already constrained. So I hope that you think this out and give Dan a chance. I think he's done a great job. And I would delay any action you may be doing on executive search until after the election. Thank you.
Thank you. Richard Redmond, followed by Citlali Salgado.
You turn the volume, it's better, it's hard to hear here.
Yeah, the volume level in the audience is very low.
Can you have the tech please turn up the volume?
Yes, we'll check with the tech, see if he can turn the volume up a little bit higher.
Well, that said, should I wait or not? I'm not going to, okay.
Is that any, whoa, that's really loud.
James, that's too loud. It's going to reverberate. It's too loud.
We're going to turn that down just a little bit.
Starting to ring. It's a little bit too much.
Test.
Testing, 1, 2.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, that's good.
All right, we'll try that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Redmond.
Vice Mayor Crosswhite, council members, and fellow Santa Paulans. The Aviation Museum of Santa Paula is looking for volunteers with either a background in or just a great interest in aviation to become docents or guides during our first Sunday open house events and other museum activities. We are looking for volunteers over age 18 who would love to join our existing group of docents and guides. To find out more, all you have to do is come to the Santa Paula Airport, 800 East Santa Maria Street, on our next first Sunday on September 6th. We are open from the museum from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We also have openings for young people 14 to 20 years of age in our Aviation Explorer program that is affiliated with Scouts of America. Youths enlisting in our Aviation Explorer program can learn about many parts of the aviation industry by receiving basic instructions that can lead to getting a pilot's license, a career in aircraft maintenance, and other aviation-related opportunities. If you can't wait until next first Sunday, please Google Aviation Museum of Santa Paula, become a volunteer, or Aviation Museum of Santa Paula, contact. Repeating, that's Aviation Museum of Santa Paula, become a volunteer, or Aviation Museum of Santa Paula, contact. Thank you very much and good evening.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Citlali Salgado, followed by Amalio Ochoa. Do we have Citlali? Okay.
Hello, good evening. I'm Citlali, a cause organizer based here in Santa Paula. I work with youth and adult committees, which each lead their own respective campaigns. But tonight I want to highlight the importance of language access. The adult committee and a lot of folks we organize with are predominantly Spanish-speaking adults. And in the past year, we've mentioned more so in passing to some staff or city council members the need for more and better equipment and preparation for interpretation. Because if our Spanish-speaking residents cannot reliably hear or understand what is being said, they cannot meaningfully participate in decisions that affect their families and communities. And in the past, when we filled these chambers with Spanish-speaking folks, at most only a group of about 15 of 60 would have access to live interpretation due to the limited equipment available. Later on, when a handful of us came in, I remember the devices were malfunctioning, so folks couldn't understand what was happening or what had happened until after the meeting. And also at the State of the City event this year, we really appreciated that the invite was bilingual, but we noticed a lot of the materials at the event were only in English, and there wasn't interpretation throughout the presentation. And at the second mobile home ordinance workshop in the spring, consecutive interpretation took substantial time, and because of accuracy issues, it made it hard for our Spanish-speaking residents to fully understand and participate. So moving forward, we are requesting for effective language access, including reliable interpretation equipment tested before the meeting begins, simultaneous interpretation when appropriate, especially for workshops and presentations, qualified interpreters who can accurately interpret the discussion, Spanish language materials when events are advertised to Spanish-speaking residents, and a consistent language access practice across city council meetings, workshops, special events, and city-hosted meetings. When residents take the time to attend a city meeting but do not have access to interpretation, they are physically present but are unfortunately excluded from the conversation, which impacts their ability to fully participate. We look forward to improvements in this area. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. Amalia Ochoa?
Buenas tardes, miembros del Consejo.
We need the,
James, can we have interpretation out front, please?
I try to interpretation. I try to speak English.
okay,
Yes,
okay.
I try. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yes. Como les dije, buenas tardes, miembros del Consejo, Vicemayor Jenny Crosswhite. Mi nombre es Amalia. Estoy aquí como líder activista comunitaria. Ha sido estresante porque quiero que todos ustedes sepan las necesidades de nuestra comunidad de Santa Paula. Quisiera que tuviéramos una buena interpretación para que todo lo que digamos sea bien entendido por todos ustedes en todas las juntas y eventos de la ciudad. Y también que haya suficientes audífonos y que se aseguren de que trabajen bien, porque nunca trabajan bien ni hay suficientes. Muchas gracias. Good afternoon, members of the city council. My name is Amalia, and as a community activist leader, it has been stressful because I want all of you to know the needs of our community, Santa Paula. I would like us to have a good interpretation so that everything we say is fully understood by you at all city meetings and events, and also that there are enough headsets and that they make sure they work properly, because they never work properly, and there are never enough of them. Thank you for your good time, for your appreciation for me, for my bad English. Thank you so much.
And then Elizabeth de los Santos?
Muchas gracias, voy a hablar en español. Buenas tardes a todos ustedes, miembros del Consejo, gusto en verlos.
Un momento.
Yes, thank you.
Oh. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
¿Lo puedo poner acá? Sí. Me presento, mi nombre es Elizabeth de los Santos y yo soy residente de Santa Paula ya desde hace 12 años.
My name is Elizabeth de los Santos. I'm a resident of Santa Paula as 12 years old.
He sido partícipe de estas reuniones de la ciudad donde me he enfrentado con la dificultad de comunicación tanto mía como de otros ciudadanos.
I've been a participant of these reunions of the city where I have confronted the difficulty of the communication and limitation of the equipment of translation.
Sí, ya que hay poco equipo de traducción que sea realmente funcional. Esto ha hecho que muchos de los presentes no tengan una clara información sobre lo que se habla en los acuerdos.
I've been to a lot of workshops that you've had and presented information towards what we have talked about, and
Agreements.
it's hard to read and not follow exactly what she's saying. And the agreements.
Aquí voy a parar. Y también en tardarnos más tiempo en hablar y inquietar a las personas de habla inglés porque no están entendiendo lo que hablamos también.
It's hard to speak with everybody in. It's hard to speak with everybody in English. It's hard to do this. I don't know if you guys want it consecutive or simultaneous. If it's consecutive, we need to do note-taking as interpreters. If it's simultaneous, then we need to speak at the same time she is, and because of the equipment, we're not able to do that. So
Okay.
I understand what she's saying. So I don't know how you guys want to proceed with this.
It's good this happened right now because it's notice how it's hard to understand and to explain me. And the person's talking in English only is hard to waiting for us. So we appreciate you take this situation really important for us and for all the community. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll let you know if you need to come back out. All right, I know that's an issue that we've looked at before. It looks like it might be time to look at it again. So just so you all can take note.
Yeah, and Mayor, I know you're getting ready to start with the other additional for RV calling for, but I do have quite a few people on for speaking by Zoom.
Are they on for general public comment?
I don't know that until I've asked them to raise their hand in the chat, and I have not seen that. But by speaking, I'm hoping someone can raise their hand there. If you're calling in on just a phone, you can press *9, and then that will let me know that you want to speak on general public comment, not on any other item on the agenda. Okay, I don't see anyone doing that. So after the mayor or vice mayor has called upon anyone wanting to speak on the RV item, which is the last item on the agenda, I will then again ask if anyone would like to speak on that.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know what he wants. Well, hold on. Have you turned in a card? Yes, I did. Okay, then I'm going to go through all these cards, so I will call you. All right, so I'm going to go through these. If you want to wait and speak when we get to that item, just, wave at me, and I will put your card to the side, and we can return to it later. Otherwise, we will go through these now. Danny Reisman?
Good evening, council and staff. My name is Danny Reisman. I reside at 1148 Fuchsia Lane. This is not just regarding the RV situation. There's a few topics on here. I'd like to know why the construction on 10th and Ojai Road has now taken over a year to complete. I know it's State Route 150. I know it's under the control of Caltrans. Still doesn't explain why it's not done and why the work is subpar. Don't put all the blame on Caltrans. We know how they operate. We all drive the roads around the state. Perpetual construction with no efficiency. Let's not fall into the same trap. Do whatever it takes. Call them every day. Most local cities will fine contractors for leaving the ground open like they have for more than just a few days in intersections, just like we have going on here in town. A competent city manager and public works director would have had this handled, but here we are. What are we expect, though? Our city manager hired a police chief against the advice of a ridiculous amount of people, and what happened? Exactly what we all expected. He personally told me that he would put his job on the line for that. What did the council do? Extended his contract and gave him a raise. It's almost comical if it wasn't our money that you guys are pissing away. So let's talk about the money. Where's the return on our investment for buying property here in town? Every election we get to, the city, the school board, somebody wants to pass a new tax, a new bond measure. Look at your property tax bill, there's like 6 extra taxes on it. We keep getting taxed to death. We bought our home in 2016, long after this so-called RV storage ordinance was passed, but the realtors still advertised RV storage for our property on the listing. That shouldn't be allowed if the city doesn't allow RV storage, right? That's an additional, that's an increase to the value of your home. You guys are now taking that away from us. Congratulations, thank you. You know, it's obvious that the way that this was written, whoever wrote this has no clue about vehicles or RVs. It says anything over 6,000 pounds can be parked on private property in the city limit. Well, that outlaws every single 3/4 ton truck and up 1 ton. Every work truck, no big vans, no RVs of any type or size will fit that requirement. Not to mention the size limit, that's pretty ridiculous as well. Go to an RV sales lot with a tape measure and somebody to help you because you won't be able to do it by yourself. And measure some basic RVs and tell me if this fits anything that you find, except for maybe like a Sprinter, a real short one. Last is the cost of storage. Have you looked at what it costs? Because it's a minimum for anybody, probably $200 to $300 or more a month. That's $2,400 to $3,600 or more a year. There goes all the money we're saving for vacation. We might as well just sell all of our stuff and get rid of it because we can't afford to go on vacation anymore. You guys are really contributing to our pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. Congratulations.
Want me to say something?
Just as a reminder, if we could please refrain from the outbursts, because I really do want to get through all of the comments. Tommy Sanchez Reyes.
Good evening, council members and staff. My name is Tommy Sanchez Reyes, and I have been a resident of Santa Paula for 75 years. I have been a homeowner for 56 years, and I have lived on Santa Paula Street for the past 43 years. For the past 23 years, my husband and I have had our motorhome parked at the residence. During all those years, we have never received a notice or been informed that we were required to remove our motorhome from our own property. That is why we were very surprised and concerned to recently receive a notice that we can no longer keep it there. My husband and I are both retired and have lived on a fixed and are now living on a fixed income. We have worked hard throughout our lives, and we were looking forward to continuing to enjoy our retirement by traveling in our motorhome. Now we are being asked to move our RV to a storage facility, which would create an additional expense. This is especially difficult because traveling in our motorhome is something we have planned and look forward to enjoying during our retirement. I also want the council to understand that our decision to remain in our home has in part been because we have the space to accommodate our motorhome. We could have considered moving to a smaller home, but many of those homes do not provide RV parking. Having the ability to keep our motorhome at our residence has been important to us for many years. My question to the City Council is simple. Why, after 23 years of having our motorhome at our residence without receiving a notice or being told that it was a violation, are we now being expected to remove it and pay for off-site storage? I respectfully ask the council to consider our circumstances and everyone else's, our long history as residents and homeowners in Santa Paula, and the fact that we have maintained our motorhome at our property for more than 2 decades. We are not trying to disregard the city's rules. We are simply asking for consideration and an opportunity to find a reasonable solution. Thank you for taking the time to hear my concerns.
It just says Laura. And she'll be followed by Vanessa Lowe.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. My name is Laura, and my husband and I are longtime residents of Santa Paula and homeowners. We're here to speak tonight about the city's recent enforcement of the ordinance regulating recreational vehicles on residential properties. We understand and support the city's responsibility to maintain attractive neighborhoods and protect property values. We want that too. However, the recent enforcement has created significant concerns among many residents. As Tommy said, for more than 20 years, these regulations were rarely, if ever, enforced. During that time, homeowners purchased properties, invested in their homes, arranged their driveways and yards based on what we reasonably understood would be acceptable. Many residents are now receiving violation notices, actually multiple violation notices, for conditions that have existed for years. This sudden change has created confusion, frustration, unexpected financial hardships for some families. We respectfully ask the council to consider whether the existing regulations still reflect the needs of the city of Santa Paula residents. Many families responsibly own RVs, trailers, boats, and other recreational vehicles. We're also concerned about the consistent and equitable enforcement of the outdated ordinance. Residents see other conditions, including inoperable vehicles, shipping containers, excessive outdoor storage, that can all affect neighborhood appearance. If enforcement is intended to improve our neighborhoods, it should be applied consistently throughout the city. Therefore, we respectfully ask the council to place the ordinance on a future city council agenda, evaluate whether the regulations remain appropriate for today's community, consider reasonable amendments that accommodate responsible RV ownership, establish clear and consistent enforcement standards, provide residents with meaningful opportunities to participate through public forums, consider a temporary grace period while the ordinance is being reviewed. Like you, our goal is not to eliminate reasonable regulations. We want policies that are fair, practical, up-to-date, and equitable. We believe the city and its residents can work together on a solution that protects neighborhood character while respecting reasonable homeowners who honestly just want to enjoy family quality time in our RVs. Thank you for your time, your service, your consideration, and allowing your community to be heard. We look forward to working with you.
Right. Vanessa Lowe, followed by Jerry Olivas.
Good evening, Madam Vice Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Vanessa Lowe, and I'm speaking tonight on behalf of my mother, Anna Nichols. My mother was born and raised in Santa Paula, but our family connection to this community goes back even further. My grandmother came to Santa Paula in 1936. So, for our family, Santa Paula isn't simply a city where my mother happens to live. It has been our family's home for generations. My mother grew up here, and in 1982, she and my father, Gary Nichols, purchased a home where she still lives today. They built their lives here, raised their family, and remained part of this community for decades. That means my mother has spent her entire life in Santa Paula, and she has lived in the same home for more than 40 years. In 2010, our family began storing our travel trailer in the driveway of that very home. It has been there openly for approximately 16 years. During that time, my parents were never given a citation, warning notice, or any indication from the city that storing their trailer there was a violation of an ordinance. Then, after all these years, enforcement suddenly became an issue in 2026. I want to be clear. I understand that the city has ordinances, and those ordinances must be followed. But there's a difference between enforcing a law and enforcing it fairly, reasonably, and with consideration for people whose lives will be affected by that enforcement. My mother and father did not hide their trailer. It was not secretly brought onto the property last week. It has been sitting openly at their home since 2010. For approximately 16 years, there was no warning, no notice, no citation, no opportunity for my parents to address this issue. Then in 2021, my father died from COVID. Since losing her husband, my mom has continued living in the very same house. She cannot afford to add the cost of monthly off-site trailer storage to her expenses. It's simply not an inconvenience for her. It's a genuine financial hardship. To the city, this may appear to be an issue involving a trailer parked in a driveway. But for my mother, this is the home she has lived in since 1982. It is the home she shared with her husband. It is the home where she raised her family. And now, after losing her husband, she is being faced with another financial burden she simply cannot afford. The trailer has been there since 2010 without incident. It has not suddenly become a problem because of anything my mother did differently. What has changed is the enforcement. And that is the question I respectfully ask the council to consider. When the enforcement of an ordinance changes after many years, what responsibility does the city have to consider the people who live under a different reality for all? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Jerry Olivas, followed by Steve Warner.
Good evening, Madam Vice Mayor, and City Council members, City Manager. I'm here to address my concerns with the existing City of Santa Paula residential RV parking ordinance and the outdated restrictions they impose on all RV owners. In 2006 and 2007, we went through this identical residential RV parking issue. I was a member of the City Council Advisory RV Committee that provided recommendations for common sense language with all the RV ordinances. I didn't see any of our common sense recommendations with the existing city ordinances. Language changes are needed with the residential RV zoning. Some of these recommendations we made then were a neighbor RV issue should be valid or a valid complaint, and it should be complaint driven. And also it should seek an acceptable resolution. A valid complaint should be investigated. No RVer wants to be an obstruction to safe traffic practices or an eyesore to the neighborhood. Citywide properties are not identical in size or shape. A few lots may be large enough to drive and park an RV in the backyard, but most are normal size, and we have to work with what we have. I was very disappointed with a recent city code enforcement letter that generalizes all RV owners with unrealistic, outdated RV ordinances. The single solution in that letter is to put your RV in a recommended storage facility. Now I ask you, with all due respect to each one of you, is there a sweetheart deal between the city and the recommended storage facilities? The question is, what generated this letter? Was it a complaint from one neighbor about another, which happens to be an RV owner? Also, you can tell that guy driving around in a city vehicle, taking pictures of homes with RVs, that we're not intimidated. Was it investigated, and I'm talking about the letter, was it investigated as an unsafe traffic issue, a valid eyesore issue, or was it a malicious complaint? Santa Paula has a very large RV community that financially contributes back to the city. Let's treat them all with respect. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Steve Warner, and that'll be followed by Robert Benavides.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Steve Warner. I am here again this evening to respectfully ask the City Council to reopen discussions regarding the RV parking ordinance currently in place. Over the past month, I have conducted research and spoken with residents in an effort to better understand the ordinance, its purpose, and the way it's being enforced. What I have found out is there's a significant amount of confusion, not only among the residents and members of the community, but also among the City Council members themselves. I submitted a public records request seeking information, correspondence, discussions related to RV parking in the existing ordinance. After approximately a month, several follow-up emails, I was given one document. It happened to be the document from the meeting Mr. Jerry was talking about. And the document has lined out the current ordinance with a proposal, which we would all be happy with, indicating you can keep one RV in your driveway. Whatever happened to that document? There's clearly hundreds of residents in the city of Santa Paula that enjoy camping and recreational vehicles on their private property. As a group, we believe there's a legitimate need for an ordinance, but we believe there is room to create more balanced and thoughtful plan. The original intent of the ordinance may have been to address situations involving RVs that are abandoned, unregistered, uninsured, unsafe, or being used as residents, which would be a violation of other requirements. Those concerns should be taken seriously. However, addressing these situations by requiring a ban on all RV parking on an individual's property is not the way. The City Council should reopen discussions with residents to review the current language, clarify the purpose, and consider reasonable standards that protect public safety while respecting private property rights. I also respectfully encourage the City Council to consider placing a temporary pause on issuing violations. I got my second one already, just because I live on Santa Paula Street, for parking their RVs on their own property while this this issue is being reviewed. It seems inefficient waste of time to have staff members driving around giving out violations on something that could be revised or possibly replaced. A temporary pause would allow the city and the community to focus on developing a workable solution rather than creating additional conflict and uncertainty. There are many pressing issues in the city of Santa Paula. When an RV is parked in a driveway, not creating a safety hazard or causing a nuisance or offending neighboring residents, it's difficult to understand why the situation would receive greater attention than more urgent community concerns. I urge the City Council to place this matter on a future agenda, invite public participation, and begin transparent review of the existing RV ordinance. Residents willing to participate constructively and develop a policy that addresses legitimate safety concerns without unfairly restricting responsible property owners. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. I have Robert Benavides, followed by Aaron Valenzuela. No, Valen. Yes? Is it Valenzuela? Okay. Robert Benavides.
Good afternoon, Vice Mayor Crosswhite and City Council members. We are Robert and Raylene Benavides. We live at 587 West Santa Paula Street. And I just want to build on what Steve, all the work that Steve has been driving. He also, like I said, he reached out to the city clerk, requested any and all city notes, any citizen complaints specifically that addresses RV issues on properties. He got zero. The only thing he got was the actual document. I reviewed it, is the one from Jerry, when Jerry was on the council. It shows the line items that were crossed out, striked out, and then new ones added that made sense, but why aren't we using that document today? I mean, we're still using, the one that that got handed is the one that's not edited, but anyways, we're still using like old documentation that doesn't make sense. Let me see what I lost here. Again, this is just another building block to have the ordinance modernized and updated, but we can't have a cookie cutter type ordinance where, I mean, every property, every home is different laid out, so we can't have a regular stamp say this is the way it's got to be, and we got to have like criteria-based line items to make sense that we can't, block public sidewalks or block a view of a path. So again, it's got to be criteria-based and make sense. So we ask that this be added to a future agenda item to the City Council. And again, please, we're also asking to put a hold on handing out these warnings or the letters to stop that until this issue is finalized and finalized. So that's what we got.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Aaron Valenzuela, followed by Toby.
Dear City Council members, my name is Erin Valenzuela, and I thank you for the opportunity to speak today regarding the city's RV parking ordinance. I have two concerns that I'd like to discuss this evening. First, our trailer is parked entirely within our own driveway. It does not block the sidewalk or street, and it does not prevent fire personnel, utility workers, or city officials from accessing our property or our yard. Our trailer is currently registered and is used several times a year. In recent years, we've also found our trailer to be an important resource for our family during emergencies. We use it along with its generator when the power goes out or during extreme heat. We also use it to store emergency and safety supplies. During power outages and fire emergencies that could make our home temporarily unusable, the trailer would be an invaluable resource to us and our family. Second, we have been down this road before. In 2015-16, we received a notice stating that we were in violation of the RV ordinance. At that time, we followed the rules and we moved our trailer to an RV storage facility. However, as we drove around our town in the next few months, we noticed that other residents did not seem to appear to be following the same ordinance, including members of the city council and the current mayor at the time. If the rules were not being enforced equally, we questioned why we were expected to comply with them when others were not and brought our trailer back home. That was around 10 years ago, and now the city has decided to begin enforcing the ordinance again in kind of the same way. We've noticed that many of our friends who live in the city have not received notices and have not been told to move their trailers from their properties. This leads us to an important question. Why do the residents of Santa Paula Street, Santa Barbara Street, and other west surrounding streets appear to be the ones targeted for enforcement? We are not opposed to reasonable rules, nor are we opposed to the city enforcing reasonable ordinances. If this ordinance is going to be enforced, we believe that it should be enforced consistently and fairly, regardless of what street a resident lives on, how long they've lived there, or who they are. We support Councilmember Chavez in his future item agenda request tonight, where he's proposing the council study session on the RV ordinance, and would respectfully ask the City Council to address these issues and inconsistencies before requiring certain residents to bear the burden of compliance. Thank you for your time and listening to our concerns.
Thank you. Toby, followed by Amparo Yanez. So Toby?
Hello, Council. One thing I want to know, do we get to vote for you guys every year? No? None of you guys will get to vote on?
Not every year.
Okay. I'm just saying, I was born and raised in this town, and I've always been about motorhoming and camping. My whole family, we're not rich people. We could go to Mexico all the time, do all these crazy trips, but we're campers. And we own homes. Why can't we keep a motorhome in our own driveway? I don't understand why we can't keep a motorhome in our own driveway. You know, that's a simple thing. You know, I just don't get it, but my family loves to camp, and I'm so deep into it. And I don't want to argue with nobody, but I can argue. I love to argue. That's good too, you know. But I'm just saying, please give us a break to where we can have our campers. I bought a 37-foot motorhome the other day, a while back, like about 4 years ago, and it's my precious toy. And it's in my driveway. You know, we allow ADUs, we allow a lot of things, you know, but now and then you need a motorhome. And there's nothing wrong with it in your driveway. My neighbors don't complain. I got neighbors that come to my house to have a beer in my motorhome. We have a good time in it. We play dominoes, and it's kind of like a family room, and we all appreciate it. I just wish the council could back us up on this and squash this stupid rule we created a long time ago that was never pushed. We just find out about this now. And there's a rumor going around town about Fillmore. Somebody's related here, right? To that campsite, I mean the motorhome spot over there to keep trailers and all that. I hear a lot of rumors. People in our town hear a lot of rumors, like the new places they're building to store motorhomes, and all of a sudden they're pushing the law. Please understand our town. Been here for 64 years old. That's what I am right now. Been a paper boy, done a lot of stuff for my community, and I just want us to be able to camp and have our motorhomes in our driveway. Thank you so much. That's all.
Thank you. Amparo Yanez.
Vice Mayor, staff, and council members. My name is Amparo Llanes, and I feel that having our motorhome in our yard is you just feel comfortable doing that. I'm on a limited income, and I cannot afford $200 or $300 a month. That means I either pay for my motorhome storage or I don't eat. Okay, and so I hope that all of you take that into consideration for our low-income people, and hopefully it'll all work out. Also, I use my generator for my motorhome when we have outages, so it really, really works for me. Thank you for listening to me, and have a good evening.
Okay, thank you. Michelle, is it Chaveste?
Good evening, everybody. I also live in Santa Paula. I've been here all my life. We have a motorhome. A couple of years ago, me and my husband decided to retire early. We're too young to get our Social Security, so we're living off of our savings. I cannot afford money for storage. I'm with Mr. Reisman. The money that I would be paying for storage, how am I gonna go on vacation? I won't have any extra money. I don't wanna get rid of my RV. I use my RV also for the lady that, I have a child in a wheelchair. I have keep emergency supplies. If something were to happen to my house, that's what I need. You know, I need you, you know, if you guys can look it over again. I can't afford, I'm on a fixed income also. My mom is the one that just spoke. We all live together just because I can't afford to pay rent. And so we live together so we can afford to do it. I can't afford, I'm living on a savings account right now. So I'm on a limited income, and I just hope that you guys, you know, reconsider this whole RV thing, and thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Fred Morales? And our last one will be Bo Mathman.
Good evening, council. I came just to kind of support the RV community. I didn't come to speak, but I was pretty encouraged by all of Santa Paula Street right here and all of my peers and my elders that I look up to, not only as people, but as community members. So being probably the youngest one here that owns a trailer, I will tell you, this is just the this is the peak of the pyramid. So once the rest of the crews and everybody finds out kind of what happens, you won't be able to hold your meeting here, because that's how many people have recreational vehicles. The cool thing is if you have a little time to take a little memory trip in your own brains, you can probably remember a time where you've had the most amazing spontaneous trip with your uncle, your aunt, your friend, your girlfriends, your boyfriends, to the beach, to the KOA, to Stucco Park, to Travel Village, or sometimes as kids in your front yard, as your regular RV turns into a castle for the girls or a fort for the kids, the boys. But it's not just about taking away our access to it, but you guys are gonna be taking away memories that go along with it, of having an accessible RV to family members that come over. I don't approve of it as living quarters, but there's been some times where we've had people come out of town, and because we don't have a great resource for hotels, it's a great option for them. I've heard it used as emergency getaway vehicles. We've lived in some crazy fires where I've had elderlies that live with us. That would have been perfect option for us if it had gotten any closer. Power outages, I've used our trailer as a hangout area with our elderlies for the oxygen machines, their CPAP machines, and our generators for other equipment that they need to live. But I think more than taking the accessibility away, for some of the older community to be able to work on their trailers, upgrade their trailers, stock their trailers. Because I see these guys out at the Rincon, to see this, a lot of local spots where it's spontaneous, it's not planned, because spots are not available. So a lot of families depend on a one-day open and a one-day trip, and some of my best days have been spontaneous when my nieces and nephews want to come over and take the trailer to the beach. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I had to go wait for somebody to unlock the door to get in, show up there and there's a flat, or there's rats in, rats in your trailer. So just consider it, with you guys. You guys are not only council, but your community members. So think about the time your community shared your trailer with you, if you would. Thank you.
Thank you. And our final speaker is Bo Mathwin. Is Bo still here? I think it says Bo. All right. If Bo is not still present. All right. That was the last one. So we will get to.
I do have some
Is it Ben?
on mute.
We may have Zoom.
Oh, maybe it's Ben? The last name is Mathwin. Oh, sorry, Ben. It looks like a U.
Yeah, my shaky right. I just came to ask for your support with these storage units aren't going to be cheap. I did look up on the internet. I have a 35-foot trailer that's going to be $205 a month, when that wasn't part of my budget. I also work for a trucking company, and watching unexperienced people try to park in tight areas is going to be bad, So there's going to be a lot of accidents, and you're not going to know that your trailer, your motorhome is going to be messed up until you make plans, you go somewhere, you go to leave, and your stuff's smashed up. So just food for thought. So thank you.
Thank you. City Clerk, did you say you had hands
Yes,
raised online?
Vice Mayor, I do have at least one person with a raised hand on our Zoom. So if I could call them forward, if you're fine with that. This is going to be the first time doing that, so if you could bear with us for just a moment.
And then will they be able to see the time, or will you just have to let them know?
I can let them know of the timer. I don't know if they'll be able to see it that's up on the front counter, but I'll go ahead and do a reset on it. And if it comes up there, I'll let them know that the time is up. So I have one person raised hand who is on our Zoom to be able to do that. Their phone number is ending in 154. I don't have a name. So if you can unmute and do a test so we can know that we hear you and you can hear us.
Did you unmute them?
Her name's Maury.
Hello? Hi, Maury, if you can go ahead and speak with us on your 3-minute time on public comments on RVs.
Oh, sure. I just want to, short and sweet, if you guys could just add the RV ordinance to the upcoming agenda. You know, I've lived in Santa Paula over 20 years, and I bought my house with the intent to have a motorhome, so I purposely bought it with a bigger driveway. So I've never had any issues up until now, and hopefully you guys can update and revise the ordinance and maybe not enforce what you're doing now with the letters until after this is all settled. And that's it. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. If you want to go ahead and put your hand down. I did have one more person named David, but he has unraised his hand. And David, did you still wish to speak? And you can do that now if you want to unmute.
Yes.
Go ahead and I'll let you know if 3 minutes have gone by.
Okay. Good evening, Vice Mayor, council members. I'm here regarding the municipal code that restricts and prevents residents from keeping an RV in their driveway. For me, my RV is more than a recreational vehicle. My RV is my plan B. As a Marine Corps veteran, I was trained to always have a plan B, a plan C. When things go wrong, you prepare, you adapt, and you execute the next plan. We live in an area where emergencies are not hypothetical. We all remember the Thomas Fire and the yearly Santa Ana extreme winds that force families to evacuate with little notice. We also live in an earthquake-prone area and are constantly told to prepare for the big one, to have food, water, supplies, shelter, and even an evacuation plan. My RV in my driveway is part of my family's emergency plan. Putting it in storage is not a reasonable solution for me. There's a monthly financial burden, but more importantly, it defeats the purpose of preparedness. During a wildfire or major earthquake, I cannot assume roads will be open or that I can drive to a storage facility, retrieve my RV, return home, load my family and supplies, and then evacuate. If I can't access my plan B when I need it, it's not much of a plan B. So I ask, what problem are we trying to solve with this enforcement? If an RV blocks a sidewalk, extends into the street, creates visibility hazard, is abandoned or creates a legitimate nuisance, cite it. I support that. But if my RV is registered, maintained completely on my property and creates no safety hazard, what public benefit is achieved by forcing me to remove it? I also question our enforcement priorities. While researching this ordinance, I found the very next municipal code contains requirements regarding solid waste receptacles screening from public streets. Are we dedicating the same manpower to fine every one of those violations? Drive around issuing notices, returning back and taking photographs, mailing additional notices, and spending taxpayer dollars. I'm not suggesting we should just let everybody do what they want. Our limited city resources should prioritize genuine health, safety, and nuisance issues. I'm not asking for no rules. I'm asking for reasonable rules. Keep our RVs off the sidewalks and streets, require them to be maintained, protect visibility and public safety. But if an RV safely fits entirely on someone's private property, I ask the council to reconsider the 2004 ordinance and give responsible homeowners a reasonable way to keep it there. For some of us, the RV isn't just recreation. It's preparedness, it's shelter, it's our plan B. Thank you.
All right, thank you all. And I appreciate your use of decorum. I really do. I know that this is a really passionate issue that's really important to a lot of you. And so thank you for sharing your thoughts on this issue, and we will address it as a council when we get to future agenda items. With that, we have completed public comment, and we will go to our second presentation, 10B, which is the Labor Day Parade poster presentation.
Well, that's going to be a hard act to follow. Whoosh. Jeez.
I think you're up to the task, if anyone can do it.
Good evening, council. Good evening, vice mayor. Good evening, members of the community. I am Chris Inez. I am part of the parade committee for the city of Santa Paula. I would like to also introduce my colleagues, Anita Gonzalez and Ray Merson, sorry, who is our chair of our parade committee. And this year, when I present, my role in this committee is to come up with ideas of what the students want, because I do work for the high school, and I let the students design the poster. So I have them come up with the ideas, they collaborate, I just sit back and watch. And they all have their things of what they want to do. So standing next to me is my president of our PTSA ambassadors, Natalia Mencia. I keep wanting to call her Sophia because that's her sister. She's graduated, so Natalia's filled in with her shoes now. So now she gets to take on this role, and I'll go ahead and let her explain to the council and the community of how they came up with designing this year's 21st Labor Day Parade poster.
Good afternoon. My name is Natalia Mencia, as Ms. Chris mentioned, and I am proud to be able to present this Labor Day Parade poster to you guys all. As many of you know, the Santa Paula Color Guard is a really big aspect of Santa Paula in general, and bringing a lot of live music and just a lot of entertainment, especially for the little kids. It's really inspiring. They've been here for like over 100 years, and this is our 21st Labor Day parade, gonna get celebrated. We also put on the Labor Day parade poster the United Association Union of Traded Plumbers, Steam Fitters, Welders, and Apprentices. And we put them on this poster because we really feel that they are a key aspect of what labor is, and putting in all their effort and all their time to really make Santa Paula beautiful and really make it what it is now. We also added our Mercer Praetor VFW post on here because we value a lot of the veterans, and we also support what they've done for us, for our community, for our country. And right across the street, we have the Veteran Memorial. So we have the veterans' names, and even on Veterans Day, we celebrate them with a little speech, and as many know, with the shooting of the guns with the blinks. In the middle, we added the photo of the doves, which really just symbolizes the unity of the whole entire community, and just being able to have that sort of peace and unity between everybody, with all the little small businesses, with the big businesses and residents and everyone in general. And on another photo, we added our Toba Toba agriculture people, because they really represent a lot of the agriculture here in Santa Paula. As we know, Santa Paula can be known sometimes as the citrus of the world, I want to say. So we're surrounded by a lot of oranges, lemons, avocados especially, and that just really represents like how much dedication and effort they put to keep Santa Paula like looking the way it is. I feel we like a lot of greenery. We don't want to see any dry lands. And that was basically it, and now I would like to present the poster to you guys.
How can we clap? Good job, baby.
Yes, now we can clap.
And we have also got, they have given me the task now that I am president to create the Christmas poster upcoming, and we are already starting and designing for the next Labor Day poster as well.
Very cool. All right.
And I would like to add too, these kids, when they're given the assignment, they immediately start collaborating. I've never seen so many Chromebooks open up so fast. You know, let's do this, let's do that. No, I like this, no, I like that. And when they start creating this poster, that's when they start coming up with the ideas of who should be our grand marshals. And when they started creating this, and they said, you know, this is our parade. We want to celebrate Santa Paula, and that's always been their focus since taking on this project about 5 years ago. And that's when they came up with the idea of celebrating the city of Santa Paula, because we are one of the only cities in Ventura County that offer this parade. I'm working with Anita Gonzalez. She handles all the entries, and each year that I've been part of this committee, the entries go up, 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 and up. And, you know, it's not an easy task to accept every one of those applications, because that's really hard to put together, you know, when they're all coming in all at once. So when the kids were coming up with this idea, they all collaborated and said, let's make the city of Santa Paula our grand marshals. Because, I mean, obviously we heard today, but people care. People care about our town. You know, there's many generations that have lived here, but some people don't know what goes behind the scenes of what makes our city run. You know, we're not a big city, we're a little, we call it the little hole in the wall that everybody likes to stop at. But, you know, it's those kinds of things. And so this was my team who came up with honoring the city of Santa Paula and honoring, you know, what it takes to run a city, because some members don't see that. We just see, you know, oh, that's a great park. Oh, that's a, you know, great street. Oh, wow, that street's repaved. Or, you know, whatever it is, you know, but that's why they wanted to celebrate the city of Santa Paula this year. And like Natalia said, we've only been back for like a week at school. Next week we have our official meeting, but they're all coming back into my classroom. Hey, are we doing the parade next year? We got some ideas. Like, I didn't even have to go after them. And like when they were designing this one back in March, they already were designing the Christmas parade poster as well. So like that parade poster is already complete. It's beautiful. We had 3 entries for that one. So the committee actually liked the next poster. So I think if that poster stays, we're already done for the next Christmas parade. So we're already ahead of the game a little bit, but I do have to commend my students for doing this project, because it is a big project, and they do it. And they do it with love. They put a lot of time into it. They give up their lunch hours, you know, they give up their nutrition time to come up with this, and it's, I commend them. So it's all about my students, so thank you.
All right, thank you. And I'm gonna ask, I know a lot of our city staff is not in the room, but anyone who works for the city, would you come up and take the picture with us? Because I know I'm gonna have council come down, but if anyone else who works for the city, Michael, you work for the city too?
Yeah, you're in our department for Parkland. Come on, Ron, come on, Anita. I work for the city. No, but you're the parade committee. Come on.
Chief, come on, you work for the city.
Oh, yeah, they're hiding.
Sneak out, come on.
I see you in
the poster next year. Come on in.
There you go. And then we need one with Julie.
Yeah, Julie's a worker too.
The corner of the desk makes
Always
it
gets in the
challenging.
way. It's always in the way. That's challenging.
Perfect.
And we hope to see you in the parade.
Yes.
Thank you.
You too.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi again. No, we give it to Julie.
Oh, yes, I will. Thank you so much. Very nice.
All right. That brings us to item 10C, the Ventura County Food Share presentation. Welcome.
Do we have a presentation to share? So, well,
I sure hope so. You waited all this time.
this has been fascinating. So thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to be able to share a little bit about Food Share and the state of hunger in Ventura County, as well as right here in Santa Paula. So again, my name is Monica White. I'm the president and CEO of Food Share Ventura County, otherwise known as the head food lady. So we have been taking this show on the road. We're presenting to every city in Ventura County, and you are number 6, so happy to be here and be able to see each of our city councils that some I have not been to, so.
Well, great to have you.
It's not in a PowerPoint form, so it's a PDF, so it's just going to be a scrolling down.
All right.
And I don't have a loose one, so.
Okay, well, I'll kind of give you a little, okay. And I will go through this pretty quick. So if you can go down to the second slide there. This is a great picture. This is back when Food Share started back in 1978. So nearly 50 years ago, Food Share was started by a group of friends who wanted to be able to feed some veterans who were living under an overpass. And they said, we need to be able to help our neighbors in need. And where did they find this additional food to be able to feed their neighbors? In our agricultural community. And so they went out armed with laundry baskets, empty wine boxes, anything that they could find to be able to glean this additional produce that was available, that the tractors had gone over and said, we don't need it. So the volunteers went out and they collected it. 34,000 pounds of food was collected that very first year in 1978. Fast forward to today, we are distributing 23 million pounds of food. We can't do that without our pantry network. So you can go to the next slide for me. This is a little bit about how Food Share works. I know some of you know very well how a food bank works, but to be able to just bring it down to a very simple level, we get food as the food bank for Ventura County from a variety of different sources. A majority of that does come from our retail markets. There is a state law, SB 1383, that requires anybody dealing with food in California to partner with a food recovery organization. So as the largest food recovery organization, we work with all retail stores. We make over 1,000 pickups on a monthly basis. We're picking up food that they can't sell, but it's still good. So we either pick it up with our volunteers, our staff, or some of our pantry partners go directly to some of those retail stores and pick all that food up. Another one of our big sources of food is the government commodities. So through the Farm Bill, we receive food through USDA that comes to us, and then we distribute it through our partners. We also glean in people's backyards still. We work with all of our ag partners if they ever have excess food, vegetables. Even the Port of Hueneme, who has, as you can imagine, a lot of bananas that are available. So we pick that up from them as well. And then food drives, the big yellow barrels that are out in the community. Our community is so, so generous. And this is a way that we can get lots of the variety of food that we need. And then anything that we can't get from all of those sources, we are purchasing about $2.5 million annually out of our $10 million budget. It's a big piece, but what we're buying is what we need for farm workers, for our unhoused, and the things that we keep on the floor for our pantry partners that they ask for all the time. The protein, the shelf-stable milk, all of those great grocery items. All of that comes into the food bank and then goes out through our network. Our network is what is feeding our hungry neighbors. 200 nonprofits receive food from us at no cost. We do not charge a penny at all, not even for delivery. So that could be a church, it could be an after-school program, it could be a shelter, it could be the drive-through distribution that we do in Oxnard every single week. 1,000 cars are coming through there. I'm going to show you a great picture of that. Hot meal sites, and also our senior kit program that is also a government program. You go to the next. So I'll give you a little bit about the state of hunger. We'll start in Ventura County, one more. 254,000 individuals were served in Ventura County last year through our network. That's 1 in 4 right here in Ventura County that needed support. You can see we had a huge spike during COVID, went up to 271,000 people, and we honestly thought that that was going to decrease, maybe back down to our pre-COVID levels, which was only at about 90,000 people. It has not. It has remained at an all-time high of about 250,000 people. So if you keep going down, one of the things I love to be able to share on this slide is the retail value of all of that food that is distributed. If we had to go to Vons and say, load her up, we're going to need all this food, $67 million it would cost on an annual basis. That just shows the power of the generosity of all of those sources that we talked about, donating food that, again, going out through our network. All right. Let's go to the next one, and this is what we're here to talk about tonight. This is the stats directly from your city in Santa Paula. Almost 1.6 million pounds of food was distributed last year. That equals about 1.3 million meals. We do 1.2 pounds equals 1 meal. 17,000 people were served through our pantry partners right here. Since your population is 30,000, that's about 56% of your community received through that network. We have 11 agency partners that we work with and 1 retail store that we pick up from. And again, that retail value, if we had to purchase all of it, is over $5 million. The next slide will show you some of our pantry partners that we work with. Lucha, Our Lady Guadalupe Church, Spirit of Santa Paula, that is here tonight, Santa Paula Foursquare Church, and I'm very excited that the middle school, Isbel Middle School and Santa Paula High, are now our newest pantries that we have available for the students and their families. So that was a big win. We do have an app that allows anybody to be able to find food that it is something that is open within 5 miles, 10 miles, or 15 miles of where they are located. It's all location. And we have found that this is very helpful for people who want to help somebody. Instead of just saying, hey, call Spirit of Santa Paula or call Food Share, you can actually pull it up on your phone and say, did you know that there's food available right here? And if it's not open now, it'll be open tomorrow or whatever that is. So it's a great source of information about where somebody can find food. And then I'm going to show you a couple pictures, and I promise this one will go a little bit quicker. So keep going. This is a picture of our College Park distribution. This is at Oxnard College. Again, 1,000 cars come through on a weekly basis. It takes 70 volunteers to run this distribution, and actually about 8 truckloads to be able to get it all down there to be able to serve them. 5,500 individuals on all those cars. The next one is our kitchen free bags. This is for our unhoused friends. 70,000 of these bags everything in there does not require a kitchen. No heating, no refrigeration, and we even put utensils in these bags. It's pop top, all of that. All of this comes through on the food that we have to purchase. And the next one is for our farm worker boxes. We work very closely with a lot of agencies that are serving our farm workers. The 45,000 that we have here in Ventura County, and the food that we are putting into these boxes is exactly what they have requested. It's masa, it's oil, it's fideo, it's hominy. It's everything that they are requesting that we don't get from those other sources. Unfortunately, USDA, when they're buying food for the entire United States, they're not buying exactly what we need for our neighbors, and so we're happy to be able to do that for them. This is a picture of our senior kit. This is, again, another government program. 3,500 seniors are served through this program. They get a big box, 35 pounds. You can see the items there on the right. This is distributed at places where we can find as many seniors as possible. There's 35 distributions. If you are over the age of 60, you live in Ventura County, and you're under the federal poverty level for our area, which is very, very low, that you self-certify that you qualify, and you can receive one of these boxes. If you do not qualify, we have other boxes for you. We always make sure that no one goes hungry. And then we also have a lot of kids programs. We have kids farmers markets. We have a kids nutrition program where a nutritionist helps them to be able to make a meal with the food that we have available. They do a taste testing, and then they bring that food home with the recipe to be able to share with their parents what they learned, what a good plate looks like. Unfortunately, the need continues. We saw that graph in the very beginning. So to be able to give you a little, you can go to the next one, that what we are doing, we have a very big announcement. We are building a brand new food bank. We are in 3 different facilities today, about 40,000 square feet. It's not enough. We turned away 8 million pounds of produce last year. We simply did not have the refrigerated space to be able to accept that. The good news is it went to other food banks in California, but wouldn't it be great if we could give our neighbors 2 bags of produce instead of just 1? So what we are doing is we're building a new food bank. You can go to the next picture to show you. This is the land that we have already purchased. It is in Oxnard. It's 12 acres, and the next picture shows you a rendering of what that building is going to look like. 85,000 square feet, 6 truck bays to be able to accept them, twice as big cooler and freezer. There's going to be a community room and also a commercial kitchen. You go to the next one. So the cost of this project is $50 million, and I am so proud to say that we have already raised $45 million of that. We are 91% to goal. We are currently in our public phase of our capital campaign, and we are offering pavers to anyone who would like to purchase them to be able to get their family's name, their name, and the front entrance for as long as we'll be there, which I'm hoping is going to be forever. There's enough room on this land to be able to cover the person after me, that's for sure. So here's a picture of the pavers of where they're going to be. This is the front entrance. And then if you go to the next one, these are what they are. So they're small, medium, and large. We would love for anybody to, if you're interested, to please go to our website, and you can find information on how you can either buy a paver, you can volunteer, or you can hold a food drive. That's all the things that help make the magic work. So the next one is just to thank you very much. I really appreciate you allowing me to be able to share what hunger looks like in Ventura County and for all of your support, period.
Thank you very much. Before I ask if there were any questions from council, I didn't receive any public comments in person, but were there any online that wanted to speak on this item?
No, I've been watching, even on the last item, there was no speakers, and we only have one more person online right now, so
Okay.
we'll see.
Okay, I just wanted to check.
I'll let you know if they raise their hand for
Make sure that we'd covered our bases. All right. Any questions from council?
I just want to make sure that the information that's presented today, especially the site that shows how to find a local food pantry, if we can please have the city get that information out through our social media and our newsletter, please.
Okay. Thank you so much. That would be great. We'd love to get the word out.
Councilmember Cornejo?
I had the pleasure of touring your facility in Oxnard a couple years ago, and it's amazing, impressive, the dedication of the volunteers, and the fact that you're doubling the space or more is awesome. So congratulations, and we all support what you do for our community. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming out for a tour as well. And I think when everybody comes, they all say the same thing. I had no idea. So I invite all of you. I'd be happy to give you a tour.
Councilmember Ornelas?
I want to say thank you for presenting. I think it's really awesome to see all the work that you're doing. I used to be one of those partners that would pick up for a weekly mentoring program. So I've been to your facility, and I've been in the cooler where all the cool stuff is, and then I've also gotten to see the food you pick up from the community partners and other stores. Our kids used to love the cupcakes and the cookies, but we also got to make really simple recipes with them, which came from Food Share. So I just wanted to talk on that a little bit. I had experience as a community partner doing that, and so I'm excited to see your new facility and what you keep doing for our families. And I have seen the Oxnard drive-through. I think it's pretty awesome how quickly the cars move and how your team works so efficiently all the time. So thank you.
It's 100% all of our volunteers. We can't do this without our volunteers and our network of incredible pantry partners. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you again for all that you do. I know I was there once about 10 years ago, but it wasn't for an official tour. I was there with Kay Wilson Bolton on one of her trips to go pick up food and watch her mind just amazingly figure out how she could make a hot meal from what she saw in front of her. So I would love to go visit again sometime.
You are officially invited.
I do have one more question. Yes. For those that maybe don't have internet access but might want to talk to somebody about a paver or being a part of your new space, could you share what the cost is for the pavers if you know it?
Yes, I do. So the small one is $2,500, the medium is $5,000, and the large one is $7,500.
And that could be purchased strictly on the website, or can people come to your space?
Oh, they can come in, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. People still write checks.
Thank you.
Thank you so
All right.
much. I
Thank you
appreciate
very
the
much.
opportunity.
All right. Now that brings us to item 10D, our police department report. Chief Aguilar?
All right, good evening, Vice Mayor, Council, City staff, and all of our viewing audience. I'm always glad and proud to represent the men and women of the Santa Paula Police Department and provide you an update of what's going on with the police department as a whole. And as you see the topics covered tonight, we're going to focus on our commitment to continuing to be a professional and trusted organization. So we'll get right into it. And the first thing we want to cover tonight is our mid-year crime stats. So we're comparing this year with 2025 for the first 6 months, so January 1st through June 30th. And I'm happy to report that our crimes against persons is down 16%. Our non-consensual sex offenses, which are rape, sodomy, sexual assault with an object, and fondling, those are down 58%. Our crimes against property is down 24%. Our crimes against society, which are the other misdemeanor kinds of violations, those are down 7%. So those are all considered Group A offenses under NIBRS, which is our National Information-Based Reporting System. And a total, from all three categories, our total Group A offenses are down overall 15%. So we're happy that that's the case. We do a lot of hard work out on patrol and detective work, and so the hard work is appreciated, and we're here to serve the community and continue to have an impact on deterring crime. Our calls for service, just for information, last year versus this year for the 6-month period, they were about the same. Last year was 12,111, and we're down about 399 calls for the same period this year, so it's about the same. All right. As far as our sworn civilian staffing, just a brief overview. We have 5 current officer vacancies. We currently have 2 on field training. We have 2 lateral entry applicants who are in the background process, and we have 1 entry-level applicant in our background process to go in the academy most likely next May. We have 2 civilian vacancies. We have an administrative analyst position, which I've been trying to fill for a few months, and we exhausted our first eligibility list, so we're creating another one, and we hope to fill that position very soon. Lots of work and projects and audits are going on at the police department consistently, and we do need the extra help to help those processes and efficiencies. We have a records technician also in background right now. As far as our current promotional opportunities for the sworn officers, our police sergeant recruitment is open right now. We have applicants submitting their information for the testing process, and then after that recruitment and following promotions from the sergeant's process, we'll continue with the senior officer recruitment. We have 2 vacancies for senior officer and 3 vacancies for sergeant. Always important for us to update our community on what's going on with our animal services and our animal services coordinator. Just some statistics since between April and July. These are some of the statistics we have for you tonight. We did an intake of 44 stray dogs over that period of time. We reunited 26 of them. Humane Society took 7 of them and put them up for adoption. We had 5 animals that came to us for medical reasons, whether they were severely injured or we had to euthanize them from their injuries. And then we've had, I'm proud to report, under rescues and adoptions, we had 5 adoptions. 4 were sent to the Canine Adoption Rescue League, or more known as the Carl. And then Spark also took 1 adoption, and that situation came up where we had someone who wanted to adopt the animal. We facilitated that with Spark, and Spark was able to adopt, had the pet adopted within a day or 2. So we appreciate the community's efforts, and we appreciate our animal services coordinator, Javier Manzanares, for thinking outside the box and utilizing all area resources, which are some are in the county and some are outside the county by up in Northern California and further down south. Our animal services coordinator also attended his first mandated training to get more experience under his belt, and also he did a ride-along with Ventura County Animal Services to gain more experience and get some more insight into the position. In June, we responded to a bear call, which is always of concern locally, because bears can be dangerous if they approach us or they attack any of us. So we had Fish and Wildlife out with us, and our patrol officers did an amazing job. We were able to track the bear into a flood channel by Peck Road, and the Fish and Wildlife were able to tranquilize the bear, but the tranquilizer did not have the desired effect. So we had to send officers down in the flood channel to help restrain the bear until additional tranquilizer medication was delivered. So we're very appreciative of our officers who had to restrain that animal for several minutes until more medication arrived. So kudos to our staff. And worked well together with Fish and Wildlife and our Animal Services Coordinator. All right. I just want to provide a fireworks update. I know we have item 13H on our consent calendar tonight, which is the civil grand jury response, our response to the civil grand jury for a section of the report they did that required a response from the city of Santa Paula. And so the information I'm going to give to you is not related to that response, but I want to provide information to you that we were not able to provide to the civil grand jury upon their request. And part of the reason was we had TrackNet, which is our old records management system, so we had taken quite a bit of time to try and get information out of that for what the information they were requesting. They requested 15 different categories of items. Out of that, we were only able to respond with 3 with our new records management system and also from TrackNet, because the other areas they were requesting were just very specific, and they would have had to have needed handwritten hand checks or hand checks after pulling information out from our systems. So the main areas that they asked for that we provide now, that we were delayed in providing them, we did not get the information to them in time for them to produce their report. So that's why the information was not there. So in the future, we're going to try hard to get all of our information together, even though it could be from a different database or a records management system, and we'll put the effort forward to make sure they get the information in a timely manner. So as looking at our fireworks statistics, so this year we had 11, over 4th of July holiday itself, the 24-hour period, 111 calls. Going back into 2025, we had 396, and then 2024, 403, and then 2023, we had 283 calls. In 2026, one of the things they asked for was how many callers provided specific addresses of where the fireworks were going on. So in 2026, we had 39 callers were able to provide that, which is, quite a bit under, maybe 40%. In 2025, only 71 were able to provide the specific address. 2024, 109 callers, which is about a quarter. And then 2023 didn't have that information. So those are a couple of the things they asked for. They also asked for how many citations we provided. And so just as a background, in 2025, on 4th of July, we issued 10 administrative citations. And then in 2026, this year, we administered 4 admin citations. We had 1 arrest for arson, which our officers did an amazing job at the end of the 4th of July fireworks. An officer saw a fire up on the hill just above the new water tanks over in Harvest. On his way up there, he noticed a car that was in a suspicious location. He gave the description of the car. We had seen that car in a trespass call earlier in the night with the license plate. We used our flock system, and also were able to get the information on the registered owner of that vehicle. We were able to contact him later on that night, and he had those sky lanterns lighting them in the area of the hill up there. He lit 8 of them. 1 of them hit against the hill, and of course the wind carried it and started a fire. But we were able to make contact and make the arrest on that. Excellent work by our officers. So although they only wrote 4 admin citations over the 4th of July holiday, we had the 1 arrest for the arson, and we also had an officer make a great observation where they drove up the street on Ojai Road and saw a trunk lid open with a trunk load of fireworks, safe and sane and not safe and sane. So the officer made a stop on that, made an arrest on that, and actually booked that person into jail. So our officers are doing an amazing job out there with the staffing that we have. We had every available staff member working the fireworks detail at the park over in Harvest that night. And they did an amazing job, and they were still able, we still had a car around doing fireworks enforcement. So kudos to our staff for everybody coming in. Those who worked the regular shift during the day, we had people coming in for the fireworks shift at nighttime, and we had people working that arson investigation who just came in for the fireworks detail, who worked through the night to get that arrest processed and reports done. So excellent work by all of them. If anybody would like to have any questions about the fireworks update here before I move on, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions.
Questions from council on the fireworks? I had one question. Have we, I know in the report, I know that's on the consent calendar, but we had a year ago passed the unmanned, the drones, UAV, whatever UAV stands for. Is that something that we're still looking into? I think it mentioned that maybe we're still looking into purchasing those that could assist us in the future.
Yes, Vice Mayor, we in the last couple of months, we did look at one drones for public safety where they actually would respond to calls for service. That's a very costly program. So we went back to looking at the most affordable drone program so we could equip 1 or 2 drones on patrol and train operators who drive on patrol every night, and then also have 1 drone available for our investigations, which would be a higher grade camera. So yes, we are, we'll be purchasing those. We did do some quotes, so we will hopefully be purchasing some in the next.
And will those be of a quality that they would be able to be used for fireworks enforcement like they did in Oxnard, or are those a different, or are you not sure?
Yes, no, they will. That's part of the facet is we want to be able to, and we've been working with the Oxnard Police Department to get some more information to try and educate ourselves to try and get the best quality we can for the price, but also to be able to effectively use it. And in talking with Oxnard Police Department, they had, I think this year, issued 7 or so citations from the drone. But the challenge for that is they weren't able to exactly get a location to uphold a citation, and a couple of those were appealed and were overturned. So there is a challenge to it, but in many cases, they are effective in getting citations.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Okay, next I'd like to talk about our investigations audit. And as you know, in January, we had the independent audit of information that required us to take a hard look at how we do business and investigations and how much better we need to be. And so I just want to come and report to you. I promise I would come back in a few months and report to you some of the different things we're doing in investigations so you understand that our expectations are high, our productivity is high, and our efficiencies are even higher. So some of the things I'll explain to you tonight is what we're doing. Since we had the assistance of Mark 43, our new records management system, which has opened the door for many, many new things for us to do as far as efficiencies and tracking. So no cases go into the black hole like we talked about several months ago. So our current from January to June for sexual assault cases only, we've had 5 sexual assault cases reported and investigated. 1 of those sexual assault cases was cleared. Our staffing right now, we have 1 detective sergeant, we have 3 detectives, and we have 1 of those 3 detectives is completely committed to sexual assault investigations. We also are going to be adding another detective very soon. We just had a recruitment for this assignment, and we are in the process of doing interviews. And we have staffing at a situation now where we can add that detective. We will have 4 detectives and 1 detective sergeant. That is the direction we need to go because of the onslaught of the workload. That's just not with our agency. It's everywhere, and it demands more detectives. So we are going to make that happen here, we hope, in the next month or so. Some of the recent enhancements under our Mark 43 records management system, it may be small print, but I'll try and explain it for our audience. 4 of the things that we promised needed to help us be more efficient and to track, to make sure we're not overlooking or forgetting things in cases, especially sexual assault cases. We produced a detective manual. This is for focusing on case workflow and standards of where we're supposed to be as detectives. We have an item called report labels. These are specifically designed to flag reports that need immediate follow-up, that need to be processed and prepared by records so that they are filed in time before arraignment for the suspects who are in custody. That's a very, very big change we've made. So literally almost nothing falls through the cracks because we have open communication and we have these report label flags. Also for video collection that's needed, we can put a flag in there to reach back to whoever took the reports to make sure that we get every piece of evidence, especially surveillance video, which is super important these days in helping solve cases. Our video collection needed also was important to us. We put a new facet in our reports that has a box that officers have to dedicate to say either they checked and have video or they do not have video in their reports. So we don't have to worry about going all through all the whole report. There's information on the very front page that tells us if they got the video or not. And if they didn't, they have to tell us, why they didn't or there was no video available. And also tasks. This lets supervisors assign and track investigative tasks directly within the system. That's part of our case management case notes, which was not in existence before. So this is really helpful for us. So if one investigator puts notes and the case may be handed off to another investigator because of other things that are going on with priorities on other cases, that investigator can pick it up and see the case notes and understand the workflow and the case progress to that point and can just pick it up where it left off. So very, very helpful. At the very bottom, you're going to see we have our case statuses now, very clear to all of our staff who work on cases. Our cases are either going to be open, they're going to be closed, they're going to be or suspended. So if they're open, that means they're still active. If they're closed, typically that means there's an arrest by patrol or detectives, or if there's a victim in a case, on a theft case or a case like that who desires to not want to continue with the case because it doesn't have the ability to be solved because of exhausted leads, that will be in a situation where we would close a case as well. Obviously, felonies, the statute of limitations don't expire on those. We will always keep those cases open. And then we can suspend a case if all the leads are exhausted. So those are the categories we have now to categorize our cases. So there's nothing in between. It's very straightforward to all of our staff, and they flag our cases accordingly in the records management system. So with Mark 43, it's a great tool. It accepts all of our reports. It classifies them in NIBRs automatically. We don't have to do any of that with a crime analyst or anything. It automatically computes all the information. So in 2025, we investigated 254 cases. Of those, 164 remain open, which is not out of the ordinary because we're still working, or the cases are still open because we haven't exhausted all the leads yet, or there's some leads that we just don't have any further information on. 90 cases were closed in 2025. This year alone, from January to July, we have already closed 78 cases. So when I speak about how important it is to track cases and keep on top of things, the case management system and the workflow and the case notes are super important, and that's what's enabled us to really, really keep an eye on what we're tracking. Okay, along with being responsible and accountable for what we do, whether it be patrol or even our detectives, one of the recommendations was in detectives was to be better trained. And you'll see the list up there of detectives that attended some of that training. There's child abuse investigations, shooting investigations. There's some other ones, confidential informant management. And even we sent our detectives to leadership and advanced problem solving. Those are the things that help us turn the corner to make us professional, open communication with the district attorney, and we understand the big steps that need to be taken on every case that we investigate. And so for the rest of our professional and our sworn staff, these are some of the other trainings that we attended from January, from the last several months. So we appreciate sending them to training and making us, our skill sets higher and expectations greater. Some emergency services information. Kate Watkins, our coordinator, does a great job. She's always moving forward with lots of meetings. As you see some of the meetings we have there, some of them are ongoing. Some of them are for get disaster reimbursements and meeting with our other city departments. Other meetings, hazard mitigation. And then the training is ongoing with Kate because her training is going to invite all of our staff members at the city to be better trained in the event of a disaster. For example, the evacuation management workshop. That's important for us. We have to be on our toes ready for a wildfire and how we're going to address evacuations and our response to it, not just knowing that there's a fire, but how we're responding to it. We also conducted the Emergency Operations Center section, the intermediate operations. That's good for our staff to put on the multiple hats of an EOC to make sure we all understand our roles. And so that's very important for our supervisors and managers. And we've discussed that and gone over each of their roles specifically in preparation for a disaster or a critical incident. Community engagement, you see the list up there. This is just from the last several months, since April to now, or end of July. Everything is participative. We've really wanted to make sure we up the bar on what we're doing in the community. I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for hosting our Coffee with a Cop, and those kind of events are helpful. Special Olympics has been on our list to provide more awareness in our community. We've done some great events. Our Tip a Cop, our Run with the Torch Run was just at Simi Valley, where the Special Olympics did their bowling event. I worked with athletes all day there and had a great time honoring Special Olympics athletes right here in Santa Paula and throughout Ventura County, so it was amazing. Our Peace Officers Memorial, our first ever trip to Washington, D.C., was an amazing experience, and I appreciate our camaraderie and our devotion to honoring those who have given the ultimate sacrifice. And of course, our annual spaghetti dinner was a great success this year. Actually, it was probably the most successful, I think, in recent memory, so with funds raised for our program. I want to thank K-9 Foundation for that as well. Career Day at Santa Paula High School, very important to us to interact with the kids. We had the K-9 and our SROs out there. Our CERT teams are still going on. Kate Watkins has already graduated 2 teams this year, 1 Spanish, 1 English, and another Spanish is on the way. So really getting involved with the community from our engagement area. Police Chief Advisory Committee, I'm really happy to report we've had great progress. We had, I believe, over 20 applications, which is a great message to us that, hey, we want to collaborate with our community, and there's interest in the community that want to collaborate with the police department. So that was really inspiring to me to have that many applications, and it was tough to, all these applicants were amazing. We had to interview another section of those applicants. And right now, the committee is in process of being formed. We'll have 7 members, and we hope to make those selections next week and have our first meeting no later than September. So good progress, and I'm really looking forward to the group that we will craft together that will work for all the better for developing our police department. Recognition, just the last few months alone have been amazing. We had lots of Officer of the Year, Employee of the Quarter with the city. Our Animal Services Coordinator does an amazing job, and he did such an amazing job, he was nominated by several people for Employee of the Quarter for the city, so congratulations to him. Our dispatcher, Christina De La Mora, was Dispatcher of the Year, and she was honored with other dispatchers throughout law enforcement agencies in the county. Officer Ricky DeLong was Officer of the Year through Knights of Columbus, and of course his great work with Special Olympics has really helped us elevate our game in community awareness with those with special needs. And we won't want to leave out our Explorer program. Our Explorer, Francisco Ramos, was voted as Explorer of the Year for our Explorer post, so congratulations to him and his family. I had time to speak with his parents, and he's just a great guy, so kudos to him. And lastly, upcoming events for us. Cone with a Cop was postponed because the ice cream machine broke down at McDonald's, so we rescheduled that. So we can't do a Cone with a Cop without an ice cream machine. So they graciously gave us another date, and so August 25th coming up, 4 to 6 p.m. at McDonald's on Harvard. And then National Night Out. We registered with our National Night Out program nationally, and we found a date. We had some conflicts this last month. I know the fair was going on, but we had some other conflicts, but we found a good date where there's no other events going on nearby that we can pick this date. Thursday, September 24th, 5:30 to 8 p.m. at Veterans Park. Always a great event, and a collaboration of sorts for community-based organizations, government organizations, the county help from behavioral health and public health and all those great organizations. So we're looking forward to that once again. We're excited. And with that, I'll take any comments or questions you may have as we conclude the report.
Any questions from Councilmember Chavez?
Question, but just to, I'm really happy to see that we're moving forward with the Police Advisory Council, and when do you think that should be operational and moving forward?
So the first meeting will be no later than next month, September. So we might be able to get that even earlier.
Great,
So
thank
we'll work on that.
Thank you for making that happen.
Thanks, Councilmember.
Thank you. Councilmember Ornelas?
I just have a question, Chief. You mentioned we currently have 3 detectives and one, I don't know my.
One detective sergeant and
Yeah.
3 detectives.
So, but you mentioned a 4th detective. Does that mean one of our current officers is going to be moving into, up into being a detective? So that leaves us a vacancy in our patrol officers?
That's correct. So it's an internal recruitment. So we'll elevate someone who's earned because of their experience and their performance. They'll earn that opportunity to get to be a detective, and then we'll have a vacancy. So that'll create a vacancy, and we have 2 on field training. So one of those, we'll put out once they get off training, we'll fill that vacancy.
Okay.
The important thing for us is we're going to address our recruitment for our promotions first, get those elevated people up. That'll create more of the line level vacancies that we know we will have to fill, and we hope to get those filled as soon as possible, but we already have those in the pipeline. We have 3 in the pipeline, so we're constantly turning the wheel of hiring, and we will not stop until we get our maximum 32 positions filled.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Councilmember
Councilmember.
Cornejo?
Thank you, Chief, and thank you for a complete report. When we talk about our internal audit and the progress that we've made with everything that we've discovered, I was pleased to hear that you're continuing to coordinate and work with the district attorney, because what comes from us goes through to them very often, and anytime those systems and relationships are better, it's better for all of us. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about that or how often you're in communication, but I recognize that that's very important.
Thank you, Councilmember. That is a very important point. I can tell you that I've seen a lot of collaboration with the District Attorney's Office on some of our recent big cases. Have you seen press releases? The subject who was threatening to harm police officers in the police station. We do early consultations with district attorneys on those kind of cases very early in the game. All those things, sexual assault cases, homicides, all those things, we get them on board immediately so that there are no things that are overlooked. And sometimes in our processes, they may say, hey, well, this investigation is going this certain way. Did you do this part? And so we may not have seen that because they're looking at it from maybe a little higher elevation, and we'll go back and do what we need to do. But the communication is I'm very, very proud of our efforts. Our response has been consistent and much needed, and I'm very happy with all of our detectives working together with the District Attorney's Office. And I was just at our chiefs and sheriff meeting today and brought up an example of our work with their district attorneys or specific attorneys who handle crimes against police officers, and they are doing an outstanding job, and we appreciate the collaboration. So it is an important facet.
I appreciate that. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Great presentation. And I know, like you mentioned, the press releases, I know there's been a lot of individuals that are suspected of committing crimes that your department has located, sometimes within, I don't know if it's been less than an hour, but very quickly after the incident. So appreciate all the work that they've been doing.
They do a great job. Thank you. Thanks to our officers. Appreciate it.
Very much appreciated. Thank you. All right, that brings us to item 11, City Council reports. Anything to report, Councilmember Chavez?
Yes, I'm actually going to take this opportunity to share how horrified I am with the news that our Board of Supervisors basically made a choice that will lead to the elimination of an emergency room that will impact our residents here in Santa Paula, Fillmore, and Piru. I'm even more disappointed that we did not play more of an active role in making sure that we showed a united front of things that we could do to bring collaboration and partnership. And I'm urging, when the mayor gets back, I'm urging that the mayor set up an ad hoc committee, and I volunteer myself to be on that ad hoc committee so that we could look into what's going to happen and what's going to be the impact, because we're talking about gaps of services. Yesterday, Ms. Cornejo mentioned how we were strung along a bit through the process with this Blue Ribbon Committee, and it seemed like they weren't even advocating or asking the hard questions regarding the cost analysis of keeping an emergency room. I felt that all the questions were aimed at, we actually knew what they were going to say before they even said it. It made their decision. They made their decision based on a bag of goods that they wanted to sell to us. There was never a comparison of what services exist now and what services are going to come with option 2. I think we have to be more intentional as a city to provide some leadership, to bring stakeholders together, including partnerships that we've had in the community regarding this issue, so that we, one, notify the community, because a lot of people don't know, but two, be productive in coming up with some solutions. I think there was some good argument regarding that we learned yesterday, that if it's not an emergency room, then it's not required to be retrofit, because it's a single story. It's only required to meet the seismic standards because it's an emergency room. So what does that mean if there's not an emergency room? Is that property going to be transformed into this urgent care? What does that really look like? So I think we really have to start asking some of those questions and dive deeper into the issue. One of the things that really bothered me was that you have to ask, we come back to this, we trust and verify. I'm not going to believe everything you tell me, especially around finances. They were using numbers regarding losses, but those losses are based on the current formula and the current level of care or services. That was not, those numbers were not accurate, and where are those numbers? They weren't presented to the public. So I feel that it was disingenuous what happened yesterday with the comments that were stated by the members of the Board of Supervisors, and they're not looking out for the people of this community. Therefore, we have to mobilize ourselves here locally to bring attention to the critical needs of our community and their medical needs, because all of those supervisors have access to an emergency room. 17,000 people accessed the emergency room last year. That's going to go away. And I'm really, really concerned about the issue. So I am going to ask the mayor, when he returns, to work on establishing an ad hoc committee so that we can be intentional, bring stakeholders together, and start creating some productive solutions in order to address how we're going to proceed with their decision. I want to thank everybody that did come out to the Board of Supervisors, or that came and signed petitions, or represented organizations. I think it was great to see that we were there in showing a united front, but I honestly believe that we could have done more to really provide more leadership around this issue. Lost opportunities. I think we had too much faith in the process of a Blue Ribbon Committee, but unfortunately that failed. We failed. We failed the people of Santa Paula and the people of this valley. And not having an emergency room, I can't imagine. Think about our senior population. Think about an incident that happens that you can't time these things. And the word emergency is there for a reason. It's a safety net, right? And so I'm just really remain highly concerned about this issue, and we have to do more because that is going to have the loss of almost 80 jobs in our community here. And think about those 80 jobs of people spending their time here in Santa Paula. What is that going to do to the local economy? So again, I remain concerned about this issue, and I'm going to ask the mayor to create an ad hoc committee so that we could do more work on the issue. I do want to mention, again, just the disappointment I felt yesterday, and I know several of you were there with me, and we were all listening to comments that everyone made, and ultimately, it's important as a public servant to ask questions and not always go along with staff or a consultant has as a recommendation. So with that said, I'll leave it at that.
Councilmember Cornejo.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We've had kind of a long stretch between council meetings, but I have been attending the meetings representing VRSD, Ventura Regional Sanitation District. I'm the chair-elect, so I'll be chair next year. PBID has been having some very productive and special meetings, organizing what they're going to do for the downtown district. I attended with other council members a tour of the up-and-coming opening of the fire station. It's Fire Station 29. It sounds like it'll be open in a couple of months. Attended the Health Forum in Fillmore, presented by the county on August 3rd. And again, I share all of our council's concerns about the future of healthcare in our valley, and had not intended to speak yesterday, but did at the last minute because I really felt that some of the hard questions hadn't been asked at the meeting, and I believe it is true that some of this is predetermined. Some of it is forced upon the county because of the budget. I admonished them for hanging their hat on HR 1. There still have to be solutions regarding whatever happens. There is money out there. There can be private partnerships, public-private partnerships. We need to be pursuing those. We were asked to sign a letter in support with another organization, and my suggestion that we need to do things as a city ourselves and produce those letters ourselves, which we did present to the county. And I know also we're working with our deputy city manager at this time to do a response to yesterday's letter as well. So we're on that. We're in communication with the mayor already, though he's out of town, to make sure that we're doing an immediate response on that. So I agree that this is not the end of the story. It is really a beginning. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Ornelas?
I didn't attend any city events or committee meetings, but I did sit in on a meeting to do with the school district and things happening over there. So I'll attend the next one. I missed this last one, but no committee meetings for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, there's been a lot of events in the community since the last time we met. There was a great STEM day over at the Boys and Girls Club with lots of booths and activities. I attended they renamed the transit station in Oxnard for former mayor and former supervisor Zaragoza, John Zaragoza, so it has his name now, on the transit center over there. So I attended that ribbon cutting. There was Parks and Rec Month luncheon, celebrating all of the hard work that our Parks and Rec staff does to do all of their great work in the community. Let's see, I attended also the tour of the Fire Station 29, which is not 100% complete yet, but will definitely be done this year. And you'll all be happy to know that there's going to be a little museum space that will have the historic fire engine in it. And folks will have the opportunity to go by and see that. And there'll be some other fire memorabilia and items there for view. I also attended the Board of Supervisor meeting, and I think we all left with more questions than answers. But we'll continue to engage in making sure that healthcare continues in our community. And it was a topic that the deputy city manager and I brought up when we had our meeting with the governor's office this afternoon. The mayor was unfortunately out of town and not able to join us. But that was the first topic that we brought up with the governor's office, was the Santa Paula Hospital. And then, let's see, I'm going to be chairing the Connect SoCal subcommittee for the Southern California Association of Governments. And what that committee, what that plan does is it's the regional transportation plan that's developed by the Southern California Association of Governments that guides transportation, housing, and land use investments in our 6-county region for the next 25 years. And so that planning process has begun. We've had one meeting, and it's about an 18-month process. And then I also had my Southern California Association of Governments legislative and membership committee meeting, and we heard updates on our 2 SCAG-sponsored bills. One was SB 1087, which is still moving forward. we're watching it still. We're hoping that nothing crazy happens with it in the next, because this is the time of the legislative session where final negotiations happen, and so we are hoping that keeps the good stuff in there that's in there. It's not perfect, but if we can get the stuff that's in there, there'll be some wins, and I'll share, if it does pass, I'll share what some of the practical impacts of that will be. And then we also found out that our other bill, which was the one that would have codified the REAP, the Regional Early Action Planning Funding, we were hoping to get that codified into state law, and unfortunately that ended up in the suspense file. So at least we were able to raise awareness with the legislatures about the importance of that planning funding, but that'll be something that we'll have to continue to raise. And then I had a local area formation commission meeting this morning. There wasn't a whole lot of note. We had a water district annexation. And then I mentioned the meeting with the governor's office. City manager, sorry, I got you drinking your water.
Thank you.
Anything to report?
Well, it's been a busy month despite the council going dark, and we've had a lot of activity. I'll skip the things that I participated in over the last month just to focus for the public's benefit on the special meeting that's going to be held next Tuesday at the community center at 6 p.m. The council will be holding a workshop there on the topic of your mobile home park or your mobile home rent control ordinance. So just wanted to point that out to the community.
All right, thank you very much. And that brings us to the consent calendar.
Madam Chair, I have a couple questions for the city manager.
Oh, sure, sorry.
I appreciate that. There was a couple of public comments this afternoon that I was hoping that you would be able to follow up on. The first was the Aviation Museum and the volunteer piece. I know that we've created, Greg has created a few years ago, Santa Paula Proud, and there was a database and stuff. I was hoping that there might be opportunities where we can mobilize or share volunteer opportunities that come to us through that database that Parks and Recs has done. So if you wouldn't mind checking to see if that's a possibility of,
sure,
blasting opportunities or whatever that might look like. The second thing is you mentioned the mobile home park event happening, forum workshop happening next week. There was concerns that came up this afternoon about translation devices. Can we make sure that we have sufficient devices available to accommodate, or maybe talk to another organization that has devices and see if we could borrow them to ensure that we're able to facilitate that? Because I know there's going to be a lot of Spanish-speaking people at the mobile home park.
I know at the forums that were held, we had Cause donated some of their devices, and we can talk with them ahead of that.
I appreciate that. And then the third thing I wanted to mention was, and I've asked for this previously, and it has to do with the Traffic Safety Committee. We asked, and we've always asked because we've had residents come and ask for, hey, I want a speed bump, or what's the process look like? Can you give us a timeline on when should we expect that information to be aware to the public in terms of letting them know what the Traffic Safety Committee is and what it does and what recourse residents have to make requests?
Well, I mean, all the information is on our website about when the meetings are. There's minutes of the meetings, the agendas, those are all kept on our website.
Can you share that through social media, maybe in the newsletter, so that we're intentional about communication on this topic? Because we keep having recurring people saying they're not, it's different when we're telling them, hey, this is the process, versus, oh, just go to the website, right?
Yeah.
So I would appreciate that. And the last thing I'm going to mention.
Well, I do want to be careful not to overwhelm the committee. So we'll take that into consideration in terms of how maybe we communicate with the public.
Or maybe they come to you, make the request, you figure out whether they go to the Traffic Safety Committee, whatever that might look like. But we need to have a real seamless process for our residents to understand, because we get bombarded with these questions all the time, and we're like, we send them your way, right? But I think there's a lot of folks that we could do a better job in communicating with, so that the process seems consistent and not just made up every time we have a situation, depending on who it is. And the other thing I would mention, is the fact that, you know, we're public servants and we're here to serve the community. And it's important that when residents share concerns because they feel like they're not being treated fairly and they have evidence to show that regarding permits or whatever the allegation might be, that sometimes instead of going back and forth on email communications, that you actually pick up the phone, make an appointment, and have a conversation with the resident. I know that we've been receiving copies of all the communications regarding
Madam Mayor,
such topic.
just a reminder that this item's for brief comments and questions of the city manager or direction to staff. Very good.
Thank you. All right, that brings us to the, well, actually, we'll just make sure there weren't any public comments online on either of those two items.
No, we have no one else online.
Okay.
They're all.
Okay, if someone comes online, you can let me know.
I will let you know.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to the consent calendar. Are there any items the council wishes to pull from the consent calendar? Yes, Councilmember Cornejo.
Just one question on 13B, which is about the fireworks.
Is it just a question, so we don't need to
Yeah,
pull
it's a
it? Okay.
question, if you don't mind. Thank you, Director Barnes. Can you remind me how much we pay? And I know Rotary does large fundraising, so we're fronting some money towards the fireworks for next year, but if you could just remind me again about how that works money-wise and how it worked out for us this year.
So fireworks, just to give a little history, has definitely increased over the last 5 or 6 years. I think about 6 years ago, fireworks were costing us about $22,000. And so as you can see in the staff report, now it's $50,000. The Rotary Club Fireworks Committee makes an excellent effort to go out there and fundraise, but their threshold has changed. So this year, they raised around $13,000 for the show. So I actually am meeting with them tomorrow, and we're going to be discussing next year and kind of the strategy to fundraise. The challenge is that we have to have a contract in place now and put a deposit forward. So this request is just to be able to secure that contract, get a purchase order in place, and then as we fundraise, we will back out this money back into the fund, and the fundraising effort will replace those funds. I don't know exactly what that will look like, but I know that they're still committed to helping us raise money for the fireworks show.
Thank you. That was my understanding, but I wasn't sure where the numbers were falling. I do, being involved with the fairgrounds, know how much fireworks have gone up, so that's legitimate, and we're staying with the same company as we did for
This last year,
Okay.
which was very successful.
And I know we had
most
trouble with the one
successful show,
before.
yeah.
Yeah, so, excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, if there's no other items, I'd take a motion.
I make a motion to adopt consent calendar items 13A to 13K.
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. And that brings us to our one action item. The 25 to 27 City Council 2-year strategic plan implementation progress report, and Deputy City Manager Mears.
So good evening, Vice Mayor and Council. Tonight, I will be giving a one-year update on the Council's 2-year strategic plans implementation progress. And tonight's ask is that Council receive and file a one-year update on the City Council's 2-year strategic plan. So Council, I know you all are very familiar with the plan, but for those who are not, or for memory's sake, I would just touch base on it really quickly. The plan consists of one vision, one mission statement, 8 core value statements, 6 goals, 49 objectives, and 157 strategic actions. And as you know, our vision statement describes what we aspire to become through the implementation of this plan, while our mission statement defines why we exist as an organization and what we are here to do. So we have 8 core values that guides the city's operational philosophy and 6 goals that defines how we're going to actually accomplish the activities of this plan. So what we have here is an overview of our progress so far. Out of the 49 total objectives, projects, and activities, now I'll probably be using the words activities and projects interchangeably. We have 5 that have been completed, 36 in progress, 6 not started, and 2 on track. Before I go on, I just want to note how progress is tracked throughout the presentation that you're going to see tonight. So we have a color-coded system here. Any projects that are in orange means it's been completed, obviously. Any projects in yellow or that gold color means they're in progress. The light color green means that the project is on track, and then of course the dark green is for projects that haven't been started. So we'll start with our first category here, which is infrastructure, transportation, and mobility. We have 9 objectives for this category, and all of the projects in this particular category are in progress. So a few highlights under infrastructure, transportation, and mobility. Highlights include the installation of the 8th Street Solar Lighting Project, which will be taking place before the end of October of this year. We had 3 downtown and 2 parking lot improvements scheduled as part of phase 1 of the pavement management plan. And this includes lots near Davis and Yale, Teague Park, Mill Park, and Veterans Memorial Park. We have a new restroom at Teague Park, which is underway, and then we have the Mill Park restroom refurbishment, which is next. Lastly, phase 1 of cycle 2 of the pavement management plan is also underway, with work planned in the Teague, McKevitt area, the Oaks, and the west side of town. So moving on to economic development, we have 9 objectives. We have 1 project that's on track, and the rest are in progress. So for economic development, the Permittee Modernization Project is on track. We have GovWell, which is now in place. This allows electronic submittals, project tracking, and we also added a public use computer at the counter for customer support. I would also like to note that plans for wayfinding are underway. We will begin with the downtown parking areas. We'll expand to the freeway and gateway signage areas as funding allows. The vacant storefront ordinance has moved through the committee and P-bid review with more stakeholder outreach plan before council consideration. And then lastly, on staffing, the department continues its recruiting efforts for the associate planner position and recently welcomed one of our former city management fellows, Gloria Parra, as a management analyst for housing and homeless services. I concur. So moving on to public safety and emergency management, we have 8 objectives. We have 2 that have been completed and the rest are in progress. And you heard much of the status updates from the chief's report tonight, but I'll probably be reiterating some of those points. For public safety and emergency management, we have completed the pursuit of funding for phase 2 of the police department facility upgrades. Also, police continues to expand community engagement through programs like the Chiefs Advisory Board and the Community Academy, which has had deliveries in both English and Spanish. Regarding our emergency communications, we have expanded that through CERT participation, VC alert promotion, and preparedness messaging through the police department's social media channels. And then lastly, for extreme weather mitigation, we continue to coordinate with the county's Fire Safe Council in sharing home hardening resources in the Oaks area. And we are also participating in the county's 2027 multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan updates. And I'm sorry, here's the slide for that. So moving on to healthy, connected, and thriving communities. We have 15 objectives for this particular category. We have 1 completed, 1 on track, and several that are either not started or in progress. And when it comes to the key highlights for this particular category, we have finalized the MOU with the school district, and we continue to provide updates to both the district and the council. The SEER Master Plan was presented to council in May, and staff is now working with the SEER Advisory Committee on next steps. Pickleball courts have been identified as a potential Phase 2 amenity in the sports park plan. Our housing element work remains on track, including county coordination on SCAG-funded infill housing analysis and outreach to developers for affordable housing sites. Lastly, for the community dog park, staff and the Recreation Commission Ad Hoc Committee are reviewing potential locations and regional examples. So moving on to our arts, culture, entertainment, we have 4 objectives for this category. 1 of them is on track and the rest are in progress. So 2 highlights that I would like to discuss. One is the updates to the Historic Preservation Code and Mills Act program. And both are moving toward implementation along with work to identify and nominate historic structures. We also have the amphitheater programming, which is on track. Use of the sports park amphitheater has expanded through concerts in the park, 4th of July programming, and other community activities. And then we are also seeing some progress with our public art and murals endeavors. I don't know if you guys have seen, but they've already started painting some of the utility boxes. They started the one right across the street, so tomorrow in the daylight, take a look, it's pretty cool. So last but not least, we're gonna move to operational excellence. We have 5 objectives. We have 4 in progress and 1 not started. So one key highlight I would like to discuss is our AI work, which is on track. Council recently adopted the city's AI policy, and staff is working with Common Sense to improve PRA request processing. We are also exploring an AI-powered chatbot to improve customer service and access to information. Departments have started reviewing assigned municipal code sections with the city attorney to identify outdated or unnecessary provisions for future cleanup. We also continue to invest in staff through training, retention efforts, and cross-department engagement. Through the Spark Reset, we launched the executive think tank cohort and a cross-functional team focused on service delivery improvements. Lastly, the first draft of the strategic staffing plan is currently in edit and preparing for initial staff review. And I did it again, but these are the highlights. So before I conclude our updates, I just wanted to note that many of these projects have moved into implementation this calendar year. So as a result, you saw a majority of our projects reflected as in progress, demonstrating the momentum toward advancing the plan's goals. And then lastly, I want to thank our staff for their continued work and commitment. While most staff time is dedicated to mandated routine and responsibilities, departments continue to identify opportunities to advance the strategic goals. And so I want to conclude and say thank you, and if you have any questions, I am available.
Any questions from council? All right, I'm not seeing any.
I just want to say thank you for the way you broke it down and how you had the number page, but then you had the one with like the highlights. I like that. For me, visually, it's important to see the breakdown. So it's nice to hear that a lot of them are in progress, have gotten started. Thank you to all the city staff for their work and doing their, like you said, their daily duties, what is within their scope of work, and going beyond that to make sure that these things are moving along. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Thanks for the great update on all of the items on our strategic plan.
Okay, see y'all in 6 months.
Thank you. I mean, we might see you before then. We're not going to let you off that easy. All right. And we didn't, Julie, we still didn't have any public comment online, correct? Okay. All right. With that, then, we will go to items for future agendas, and I will pass it to the city manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, I guess. members of the council. Not really much to report in terms of future items. Councilmember Chavez has introduced 2 items for council's consideration, suggesting study session topics for the council, and so I will let him speak to that, and the city attorney and I and staff are available to answer any questions that might come up. All right.
All right, thank you, Mr. Singer. The first one obviously is.
Mike.
The first item that I'm bringing to everyone's attention is obviously what we saw tonight, the community engaged in wanting to, I'd like to visit and ask the council for a study session on the RV parking ordinance. You all have access to the agenda request form. I think it's important for us to have this topic of conversation, especially because we don't do a good enough job before we start enforcing rules that haven't been enforced in a long time, and having those conversations in preparation and buy-in from the community. So I'm hoping that the study session will bring all stakeholders together, including the residents, city staff, to share what the ordinance is currently, what the enforcement looks like for that, because I think we can coalesce around some basic themes. And those themes are obviously ensuring that we uphold public safety. Many of the things that were mentioned tonight by the local residents, I think it's a good starting point for us to talk in conversation about how to make things more realistic for people in a community that has an RV culture. And so I'm asking for my colleagues to join me in supporting a study session to be done this quarter.
Councilmember Cornejo.
I support that. I think it's, the timing is appropriate since we're going through our municipal code anyway to examine all the aspects of that. Clearly, the world has changed a bit over the last 20 years. We should be asking the questions that have been asked of us, including why certain provisions were included and not, and just get our most recent input. I don't see myself, I'm not blaming staff and I'm not blaming city employees for enforcing code. That's their job. What we need to do is examine if it's the right code so that we are enforcing what we wish and what is best for the public. So I think it's definitely worth the discussion.
Councilmember Ornelas.
I'll echo that. I think it is worth the discussion. I don't have an RV that I park on my property, so I didn't even know the ordinance was affecting anybody or that it was now being enforced again. So the community members that came and spoke about it the first time was the first that I heard that there was a problem. So I want to appreciate Councilmember Chavez for bringing it up. But I think it is a conversation we need to have, and everyone that came and spoke today, thank you for that. Thank you for using the hand signs and the other things to help move the meeting along. I know that it is a very important topic for you all because $205 a month, somebody said for a space is $205 a month. And so I look forward to us as a council having that conversation. I thank everyone for that came and spoke, the people that were on Zoom. And yeah, I felt it was concerning to hear that somebody made a comment about how some streets seem to have gotten the violation or the citations and other streets haven't been touched. I think that during that conversation, as council, maybe city staff can help us understand how that's decided, where the patrolling happens, and what the change was to make it be enforced. Like Councilmember Cornejo said, that's their job, enforcing what we currently have as our policy or code. But just an understanding of how it works so that that feeling of like some streets are being targeted and others are not isn't something that happens.
So can we just need to decide though if we're gonna, I'm sorry, we will have plenty, not to cut you off, we'll have plenty of time to talk about this all in depth. We just need to decide if we're putting it on the agenda or not. That's really the purpose of this final section.
Yes, the only reason I brought it up is because of the comments that were made, so I wanted to touch on that, but
Okay.
yes, I agree with
Okay, just
putting it on.
Sorry. not to cut you off, sorry.
Just a point of inquiry, Madam Chair. Can you remind, legal counsel, I'm sorry, can you remind us what the
The rule is-
process is regarding when we bring an agenda item? Do we just need one person to concur, the whole committee? Council, what does that look like?
It is a consensus in the absence of an objection.
Okay. So it feels.
But no
that-
motion needed, right?
So
No motion.
what I'm hearing is that there is a consensus. Do we have any sense, I know we've been going through the municipal code, so we would have gotten to this naturally. Do we have a sense of?
We've gone through this section of the code, but staff pulled it out to receive public comment. So this is exactly what was intended, yeah.
Okay. So this will be part of the process. Okay.
However, it's important to note that because this is part of the development codes, those go through the planning commission. So we'll have to think about whether or not a discussion, a community discussion, a workshop, or that sort of thing. I know you're suggesting a study session, but probably more of a workshop format is appropriate for the council to participate in order to give some general guidance or direction, or whether that in some way biases the process. And so we'll have to sort through that.
Yeah, so my suggestion would to be hold a planning commission study session, let them be the recommending body. We want to make sure that they remain an independent body from city council. And only in the most urgent of circumstances have we done a joint meeting with them. But it should go from planning commission and then referred on to city council for first and second reading.
When,
Councilman, I heard two.
So I would just,
Councilmember Pernay.
yeah, so I would just say then at that point, because we just want to make sure that there is public input.
Yes.
Certainly, staff has been here, input is here, public could speak to the planning commission.
Yes.
So there is a way to channel
Correct.
that information as decisions are made.
It
That's
would
really my
be, it would
concern.
be like any other study session,
Okay.
except
So
planning commission will
certainly
be the
public will
body
be
there.
involved, and that's our main
Yes.
concern. Thank you.
Okay.
But I would draw a distinction. Our study sessions are not recorded. They're usually held, now I know SB 707 is changing some of that, but they're usually held as a chance to get more informed. I would characterize this based on our procedural guidelines as a workshop. We're wanting to invite the public. We want them to encourage to participate in that process, give us feedback. That's not a study session. That's what we define as a workshop.
when we did the study session for the ordinance, was it not a study session?
You mean in 2007?
When we started this latest, we
mun-
had the planning commission together?
Yeah,
we were
the
all-
municipal code update was
That was,
an internal discussion with the planning commission and the council.
But that was categorized as a study session, correct?
Yeah. So-
Would this be the same?
No, the distinction here is that now we want to engage the public. The purpose of a study session is to help the decision makers become more educated and informed about particular topics that are going to come to you in a regular meeting, and to allow the decision makers to give staff feedback to make sure we're kind of going in the right direction in that respect. In this case, we know what your direction is, not only to update the municipal code, but specifically to re-examine this provision. And therefore, I think the next step would really be an engagement with the public in a public workshop. Kind of like with the mobile home park stuff.
Sorry.
I have two
Councilmember Morales.
questions. I don't know if they're for our city attorney or our city manager. How long can this process take? And the violations or tickets or citations, whatever they're called, that community members are getting for their RV parking, can those be put on hold until we make these changes? Is that not something that's part of our process because of what currently stands?
So I hesitate to respond to that only because it's not on the agenda.
I'm only asking because the conversation we're having is study session or workshop, and I'm asking how long that's going to take, because this seems like a
Yes,
really urgent matter.
I will give you an estimated timeline, because that's relevant to meetings. So based on what I heard from the public, it doesn't seem like they're asking for much. And those changes, you know, after some further input and research into what they're asking for, it shouldn't take that long. We have a very small RV ordinance.
Yeah, I'm just asking for the sake of what was shared today, so that we can have
So
an
it would need-
understanding.
So if you're going to have a study session, no action can be taken there. And then it'll have to go to the planning commission. They'll have to notice it. That will probably be another few weeks. And then once they consider the ordinance, make the recommendation to council, then that's noticed again, because it affects land use. So once there's enough notice, that goes to the first reading, and then the second reading can happen within 5 days of that reading.
What is that what you just explained, the most expedited process we can take?
Yes.
Okay.
This is not.
Then I vote for that.
And just to clarify, you meant workshop and not?
Workshop.
Okay, just to make sure. Okay.
And the planning commission and the council could be present or no?
That would have to be agendized if you want to do a workshop with both bodies. Because for,
Which we've had done before.
for a mobile home, council is not there, planning commission's not there, and it's not a Brown Act meeting.
I mean, we could start with a public workshop that elected officials are not at. We could also consider, I think, doing it as a joint planning commission and city council discussion if it's just to provide general guidance and direction as we then work to maybe revise the ordinance.
Whatever's going to make it move along faster.
I will, how can we have consensus to move forward with the process, and can we let staff work through the technical details?
Yes, and provide us an update as soon as you can.
Okay, thank you. And the second item.
All right, the second item is, January of 2023, 24. Mr. Singer, when was the letter from Spark given to us regarding discontinuing our partnership? Wasn't that January?
January of last, of a year ago.
25.
Yeah, actually, they stopped serving us February of 25.
Well, since January, and then we stopped the contract in February of services, we've had like a mishmash of, and it was really just trying to find a way to make it all work, right? I mean,
Still
we've had
are.
issues, and you're still doing that. I'd like to see that we have a discussion, because I know there's been efforts by city staff through BARC and their initiative to try to connect the missing pieces of how they're going to support the strays and the adoption piece. But also, we need to get community involved to help us. And having a forum where they could be involved, I know we had organizations that are willing to step up to help us with that. We cannot rely on our police department to be dog catchers on the weekend. I'm just not comfortable with that, with them doing that work. And so if we can mobilize a cadre of volunteers who'd like to support the city, I think what I'm proposing is that we have a conversation and a study session to talk about what options do we really have at the table. And also the condition that we're currently seeing our animals in the back. I want to hear plans, ideas. This is a temporary fix. I mean, I think the community wants more. And so that's why I brought the item up, is because I'd like to see that we bring all stakeholders together to try to identify some of these issues that are happening with our animals.
Councilmember Cornejo.
So now that what we've learned, if you're talking about bringing the public, we're talking about a workshop as opposed to a study session. We've had a study session already, and that was almost 2 years ago when we were anticipating the problems that were coming, which actually came. And we were semi-prepared, but there just are not a lot of options out there that are affordable. So do we want staff to present to us so that we study options, or do we want a workshop for the public to come in and express their concerns?
I want to know from first, I want to know more about the issue. I want to know more about what we're doing currently in the sense of our kennel service here that we have, that we operate. What are we doing in terms of public education about ensuring that our residents are responsible, the permitting stuff? We've had a lot of thick conversations about a permitting system that was going to kind of come in, and it was going to be more easier for people to get their licenses. Like, I think I want to start with us learning more from staff and probably some subject matter experts regarding some of these issues they're having with the shelter or the Humane Society, or I feel like we haven't been involved.
It sounds like then we do want a study session, which we could have public comment prior to that for input if anyone who wants to speak on that topic before we have our study session. But I would like an update, and maybe we can engage on some potential ideas as well. So if staff could prepare and let us know what all avenues have been pursued. I know they have been working on this, and then we could maybe come up and brainstorm ourselves through a study session. I would be in favor of that.
And sort of let us know what plans that I'm sure that they've been doing this for a while. Kind of let us know as they're figuring out what they think their plans are as well. They could share that with us.
I appreciate that input, and it sounds a little more narrow than what you submitted. So I just want to be sure we're not missing anything, because you also talked about like wildlife management.
Well, we saw the bear.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
I, from a liability perspective, imagine seeing our police department go tackle a bear because the tranquilizer didn't work. Like, it's concerning to me, because if that bear, what happens to our officer? So,
Well, we also have like open schools like Isabel or any other school that a bear could get to, and our officer would have to be doing the same thing, and the concern about the kids around whatever is happening, because we can't control wildlife, not necessarily all the time. But that is a good point.
Maybe you can just learn, there's been training going on in that area, and so maybe our animal control officer can share what they've learned and how they would, and then council could engage with them and, well, how would you respond if, there was a bear or whatever?
And part of the discussion is, do we expand or do we look for other options? And so I would like to have that analysis or discussion as to how we move forward with what we have.
Yeah.
I credit our officer, and again, don't want to get into big discussion, but I credit for what's being done in the meantime, but it's not a great long-term situation for anybody. So I'd like to see if we could have that discussion for sure. Thank you.
All right. Do you have enough direction, City Manager?
I think so.
Okay, thank you.
thank you, council.
All right, that brings us to our meeting adjournment, but I do want to adjourn the meeting in honor of two individuals. One is Carol Anderson, Councilmember Cornejo's mother, and the other is Manuel Ruiz, also known as Tio Manuel, who was a retired city employee. So I would like to, in our water department, correct?
I believe so.
I believe it was water department. So I would like to close in both of their honor.